That's funny.
Wait, Corey, you just got doing what to 20 guys?
Cooking.
Oh, we're live. We're live.
Cooking. Oh.
Hey, everybody.
Your audio was
What's
cutting
going
out.
on?
Sorry.
Corey just had some fun with 20 dudes.
Oh,
That's great.
Oh, I had to. I'm sorry.
Wait, oh, yeah. Oh.
Like, wait a
In the
minute.
words of Steve Scott, no cursing.
no cursing.
Well, hey, everybody. Wait, Corey, you just got doing what to 20 guys? Oh, hold on. Oh, we're live. We're live.
Cooking.
There we go.
Somebody's audio.
Yeah.
I had the dual audio for myself, and I was like, what the heck's going on right
Yeah,
now?
there was a lag. There was the lag there. So we got, dang, chat's full already. So, hey, everybody, we got, tonight, it's Cody with Cody's Auto Diagnostics, Corey with S&A Auto, Isaac. I guess I'm going to put Isaac as NC Auto Rescue when he gets here. Hopefully DeFazio will show up. DeFazio. Myself, we got Ivan with Pine Hollow. He's currently, we're staring at pictures on his wall. If anyone can figure out what the pictures are,
Somebody can zoom in.
30 points.
No,
30
you were good
points.
at that earlier.
Yeah.
Look at Brandon taking a picture.
And Brandon with Jarhead Diagnostics. So we're all
going on,
here.
everybody?
Anyone trying to find their channels, looking down in the description, I've got links to all of them. All great channels. You must like and subscribe, or your favorite pet puppy will die.
Not the puppy.
Yeah, that's just it's a thing, you know.
Wait, the
Fortune
ATF's
teller.
coming in?
I went to a fortune teller. He told me I was going to suffer a big loss in about 12 years. So to cheer myself up, I bought a puppy.
Speaking of that,
I love that joke.
I got none of my dogs here, unfortunately. So tonight we've got a roundtable of So You Want to Go Mobile, and interestingly enough, this will probably go way longer than what any of us want it to. Mainly because we haven't ran through this before, so we're probably all just going to be learning about each other. So as much as we actually haven't talked about this at all, I'm sure this will be like part one of a bunch or something with lots of different people, I'm sure.
oh, not my ugly mug. Hopefully not.
Yeah, and I started out some videos like that. I'm like, unfortunately, you've got to look at me the whole video. Well, oh, lucky you. It's just my hands today. So, I guess we've got...
All the time.
You want to do introductions?
Yeah, let's... So, on their screen, they're going to see Cody at the top left. So, Cody, why don't you go first? Who you are, where you're at, how long you've been doing it, and why on earth would you do this?
Why on earth? So my name's Cody Gaddy. I'm located in Tucson, Arizona, and I've been mobile for a whole month. So
Veteran.
it's something. I'm the rookie of the group. And the reason I went mobile is I was at a shop for 14 years. I ended up leaving that shop. They ended up getting bought out, and the whole dynamic of the company was changing. So I ended up going to another shop, and they treated me good. Thing is, it was a long commute each direction, and I just felt like I wasn't meeting my max potential, and I wasn't growing at the rate that I really wanted to grow. So I've seen guys like Brandon and Keith and stuff go mobile, and I figured I have the tooling and I have good networking. I feel like with these guys. That I would be kicking myself in the butt if I didn't try it. So that's where I'm at.
Sweet. So next across is myself. If you're here, you probably have been to my channel before. So I'm Keith Perkins, not DeFazio. And I will clear that up real quick. I don't know how many people have messaged on my videos like, oh, Ivan talks about you a lot, or oh, Eric talks about you a lot. It's not me. It's the other Keith. I am not the one that you're thinking of. I recently fixed a few things for a couple of these guys, but that's it. I've been mobile for full-time mobile since November the 5th, 2018. Was doing mobile weekends and evenings before that for as long as I can remember, always doing stuff. November 5th, 2018, I got fired, so that's why I was full-time. So, yeah, it was basically... Shop was declining, couldn't keep anyone going, had nobody on the front end, cycled through like 15 front office staff, nothing was getting sold. I was flagging 30-ish hours a week and making 10 more hours a week than all the other technicians. When it started happening, it got bad for about 3 months. Went to the franchisee owner and was like, hey, man, I got like 14 weeks of pay saved up. So let me help you. Let's make this turn around for, I got 14 weeks. So we got time to build a plan and figure it out. And he goes, all right, we'll do it. 14 weeks passed by. It was a Friday before we did this thing where we did a bunch of oil changes for free for single moms and stuff. Something I really enjoyed doing for the 4-ish years I did before that with this company. Couldn't financially swing working a Saturday for free. I had to go work jobs to make money. Because we were at the 14th week, I had no more money saved up. That was it. I had to make the money or that was it. I was like, hey, I can't do Saturday for free. I'm sorry. Do you understand? Or can you front me the money that you said we were going to figure this out? He said, I can't afford it. And I was like, well, do you at least understand that I've got to? And he's like, yeah. He made it weird. He left. Monday morning I come in. He goes, we're going to go a different direction. I'm thinking, cool. That's going to be like hourly, right? Or something. He's like, no. You just need to go find another place to work. I'm like, okay. Locked up my toolbox, grabbed all my Diag stuff, threw it in my Nissan Titan, and this is where we're at. So, yeah, that's why I did it, because I had to.
And look at where you're at now.
Yep, in the dark.
Got me now.
In the dark.
In a building.
He can't pay the light bill.
Away from my family. Yeah.
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
That's right. Ivan.
Hey, I'm the one in a storage shed right now, so I want to hear it.
At least you're on your own property.
True. That is very, very true.
And you have beer.
If it's somebody else's property.
Yeah. I'm leasing this building.
No, this is apple juice.
Cider. Hard cider. Got it.
Yeah, hard cider. There we go.
Ivan, you're next across the top there, so.
Hi, Ivan, Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics in State College, Pennsylvania. Central PA is pretty much middle of nowhere, so compare to these other guys. I live on a farm, so the clientele is, we only have about 20 independent shops here in town, a bunch of dealers, but my workflow is probably very different from your typical mobile diagnostician programmer like Keith and Cody and. But about 50% of my work I just do right here in my garage. I have a customer base, friends, family, word of mouth. And then about, 50% I do mobile work. Like this week I went a few mountains over to Amish country and diagnosed a Kia over there they couldn't figure out. So it's very big variety. In terms of history, I started my own business in 2015. And then, if you guys remember from the YouTube channel, I was going out to Staten Island about once a month working with Keith DeFazio. So he really got me into the mobile scene. And then for almost 2 years, I worked at an engineering company here in State College doing vibration analysis just to try something different, But I was still running my car business kind of on the side, and that was tough to do, working 2 jobs at once. So about a year and a little bit ago, the politics of that company, I reached pretty much the growth threshold, wanted to improve more. They're like, no, you just do what we tell you. So I'm like, well, I'm going to do my own thing then. So now I'm doing Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics full time.
Wow.
And
nice.
That's where I am right now. So that's short history.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know the background on that either, so that's awesome, Ivan.
Oh, look at that ugly mug.
He's
up,
pulling
Isaac?
DeFazio and showing up.
Oh,
late.
now he hides it.
He's like, nope.
Nope, not at all.
Not today.
Not
Guys,
today.
later.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know the story either, Ivan. Congrats on the channel growth too, by the way.
Yeah,
You're
seriously.
like 95,000 subs or something.
I didn't realize you were doing it full time.
That's actually a big part of the business now, where I just love putting stuff out there, and it's like a community.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I just fix computers for other YouTubers. So that's like a rite of passage. At this point, everyone needs to send me a broken module so I can fix it, I guess, is the route.
Well, I was talking to you about that earlier, remember?
Yeah. And Brandon, you're up next, so.
Brandon Dills with Jarhead Diagnostics, and hang on, this is for Steve Scott. He needed a red light.
Oh yeah.
Steve.
Nah. So, I guess take it way back. I was in the Marine Corps Aviation for 8 years. That's where I kind of learned my mechanical background and diagnostics.
Oh, I brought Crayola snacks.
Oh, can you throw them through the screen? I'll take them right now. I don't care. I got out of the Marines and sucked it up for about 9 years. I couldn't stand civilians. Please don't take this harshly. I just couldn't stand working for other people. 2019 really freaking sucked for me in the shops. Bounced around a lot. I got to the point in my career where I was done doing oil changes, done doing tires, done doing brakes. I wanted to do diag. COVID hit at the beginning of 2020. The shop that I was at was like, oh, we got to cut everybody's hours. I was on a guarantee. They cut my guarantee and wanted me to do free work. And then they told me, you don't work for Brandon Dills Automotive. You work for us. And I was like, well, at that point, see you guys later. And I took Jarhead Diagnostics full time. Before that, it was just kind of a hobby, I guess you could say, but sold a couple of things here and there. But then I took it full time, LLC, everything, and grew it for about 6 months. And then got to the point where I needed to hire somebody. So now I got a full-time technician with me, helping out with mobile and living life. So,
Heck yeah. Corey?
Oh boy, my story's I'm the oldest, so my story's the longest.
It's only your story.
In 1947.
Yes. I had already had 20 years experience by then. No. I am the senior of the group. I hear about it often. So let's see. Had my own shop back late 90s, all through most of the 2000s. Well, let me back up a little further than that. I work 2 jobs. So I have a city job working on buses out here in New York. And I've been doing that now 27, almost 28 years. In between there, I had 2 shops, one back in the 90s. Then I had another one from the late 90s, 2000s. Then I sold my shop because I never saw my family. So we kind of took it a different direction for a small bit so I can spend some time with the family. And then I reincorporated as S&A back in 2013. Turning wrenches, kind of doing what Ivan was doing, I guess. And then it kind of took a turn. I know Keith DeFazio for about 20 years now. His shop was right down the street from mine. So doorbell?
I ordered pizza, sorry.
Yeah. Domino's.
So knowing Keith, and then Keith started doing the mobile thing on Staten Island, aptly named by Ivan as the Staten Island Express. And then I kind of got tired of turning wrenches. I said, hey, he was really busy. Hey, let me tag along. Let me help you out. Let me ride. Let me give me some calls to do. Did a couple here and there, and then Keith took a different direction. Ended up down in North Carolina, and in a blink, he said, okay, the island's yours. I got to go. Make sure you clear your phone. If I tell you it happened like that in 2 days. He said, I got to go take a ride. I got to go look at something. 2 days later, I got the call. I'm moving. And,
yep, that's Keith.
and I'm moving, and the island's yours. I'm going to start forwarding all my stuff to you, and get ready.
Hey, don't get now. I get this because I'm in North Carolina. Hey, Brandon, I got this customer. Can you head down to this one? It's like, sure, Keith, I'll look you up.
Yeah. He asked me to go to Scottsdale. I was like, it's only like 2 hours away. We're good.
So for the last year, since COVID, right about the time COVID started, I am full-time mobile and still still taking care of running my other job and going to my other job. So I have double duty. And that's where I'm at. Running the Staten Island Express by day and doing this other thing by night. And one of these days I'll go home.
How much do you sleep, Corey?
Never.
What's sleep?
I kid you not. I left my house 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. I haven't been home since.
You need to buy a Tesla just so you can sleep in between jobs.
Sleep on the road.
And just I'm doing this in my truck because I figured it's Staten Island. I wanted to do it DeFazio style. So
We're making money right now. So
Yeah.
Now, just flip out your Leatherman so that way you can pretend like you're working with the Leatherman and it'll be perfect.
wait.
You got a Dunkin'
Right
Donuts
here.
cup or no? Yeah.
No, I just cleaned the truck out. Here it is.
Okay.
You know what's funny? When I'm gonna go off on a tangent real quick, but when I went to get the business insurance and I had we'll get into that in a minute, but trying to get mobile insurance, and I had to try to tell them how I'm not a mobile repair. I don't work in the street. I just do diag and I just do programming. I don't even carry wrenches. I said, you have to understand, I have a Leatherman tool and 2 screwdrivers. That's really all I got. I've added a 1/4-inch drive set, but I don't carry tools.
Well, that's me. Like, Black Friday crap happened, and I went to Lowe's and bought a 100-piece Craftsman set, and that's all that stays in my vehicle.
That's
I don't
ballin'.
take. Well, no, I mean, well, see,
I got
I
8
did.
sockets.
Well, I did have like a couple of small, like Snap-on a Craftsman or Snap-on a Matco, just small stuff, just pull dashes apart. But then I lost a Snap-on ratchet. I was like, I could literally buy an entire Craftsman set for the cost of that ratchet.
Yep.
Might as well just go buy the Craftsman set. Hey, Isaac, is that flame coming out of the ear or the backside? Is it the backside though?
I'm trying,
Just
guys.
waiting
I'm
for Isaac
fighting
to-
the hamsters that run the DSL out in the country.
Just do what you always do and switch to your switch to your hotspot.
I am, but it is being bogged down by something today.
Yeah.
You don't have the hamster.
Yeah, it's called
you don't have the hamster in the
ISP.
wheel?
Well,
You don't
it
have
is
the hamster-
officially not me calling or me messaging you, so you do have that plus.
So Isaac,
He's literally got the,
I'm
he's
trying
got
to
the
get
hamster
to work.
wheel running the internet for him.
yeah. So we're doing intros, and you just popped in and we lost him.
No,
I
I'm
was
still
like,
here.
"Hey, you're
I'm
gonna have
trying
to speak." He's
I'm
like,
trying to
"And
fix my internet.
I'm out."
Hey,
Just kidding.
Isaac, shut off 75 of your monitors and only leave 2 open.
Yeah.
Might help out with the speed of your internet, possibly.
Well, I'm smart. I always call in ahead of time with my phone because we know that my internet's not reliable. But I got to get it working. Tomorrow I got to do a hybrid class over the same internet. So
It'll be as reliable as a Prius.
No.
A Korean Prius.
Korean.
Hey, I'm Master Kia certified, man. I take offense to that.
Yeah, well, hamsters are on your side, so.
This is very, very true.
PJ's comment.
We're at,
Right
That's the
there?
worst internet. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hey, PJ, it's not me this time, buddy.
No. It is not us.
It's not us this time.
It's not us.
He doesn't program with that internet.
Actually, Mario, legit, he does program with that internet.
Yeah.
He 100% does.
And jumper cables and
Hey.
oh yeah, hold on.
I
We'll get-
programmed a
we'll get
Toyota
some
on
pictures.
jumper
Let me-
cables today. I don't want to hear it. I programmed with the Toyota today.
I
Jumper cables.
I coded
Isn't it
a
funny?
scanner
all,
on
all
my
I can
cable.
tell
I'm
you
not
guys
scared.
is that
Isaac is the laptop guru, and he has no internet service.
all I'll say about that is
The
that
irony.
anyone that's ever taken any of my training, I want you to understand to do as I say, not as I do,
Read the SI information.
Read the service.
buddy.
I mean, if we're discussing mobile, it's kind of difficult to run 200 feet of extension cord to the backside of a parking lot to program that Ford that will not start for the past 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do.
Dude, half the time they're like, Keith, it's out there in the parking lot. Does it need a battery in it for you to program it? Yeah.
Didn't you just
Oh,
have one the other day, bro?
no, wait. We're all in that.
It doesn't need
the
electrons,
professional hack
but
group.
it
Do you not
helps.
remember that Toyota from the other day that I showed? It had no battery, it had no throttle body on it, it had missing grounds, it had half the harness disconnected, and they're like, "Oh, program this PCM." It's like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing with this crap?
Yeah. Some sirens.
Well,
out
with
there
that,
somewhere.
why don't we do the lead in to what started this, the idea of this topic, right? I guess that's me.
Yeah, you're the one that started
Yeah.
the group
That's you,
chat.
Corey.
That's
not
you.
me.
Okay, yeah.
Center.
I opened my mouth. Well, I guess reading all the chat on a lot of the Facebook groups, I see guys, and obviously Cody just went through it, and I see a lot of guys talking about it. Hey, I was thinking about doing it. Hey, how do you guys manage? I have questions. Even Brandon just kind of formally morphing into it about the same time I did. So it just seemed like a cool topic, especially because we're in a time in the industry where it is a thing, you know. And I was telling the guys before the stream started that back when I went to auto school 100 years ago, they said, you know, the industry is going to come to a place where you're going to specialize in an area. You're not going to be way back when, right? When I started out, you could do everything. You could turn all the wrenches. You rebuilt the motor, you rebuilt the trans, you even did some body work, you did everything, and you could do the whole car. Now you can't. You can't be the guy that does the ball joints and the water pumps and does the programming and does the diag. It's just not enough time in the day. There's not enough. There's a lot of knowledge to be had. There's a lot of tools to be had. So yeah, you do have to start to specialize. Diagnostician and programming is a real viable thing to do. Obviously, we're doing it. And it's going to get, I think, more so. Maybe, you know, become like Isaac, you know, a hybrid specialist, but he is a hybrid guy. But I think it'll get to a point where you do hybrid and nothing else. You do electric vehicles and nothing else, because it's going to get to that point. So the conversation is, you can pick an area that you're comfortable with and run with it, and never hang a strut again, never change a set of brake pads again, unless you want to. God bless, do it. But
yeah, I mean, like with
and there's a lot of dynamic to this that, you know, getting into this mobile thing is just is a new world. And depending on where you are, demographically and geographically, it changes immensely. The laws, the weather, the people, the median income, on and on and on. Right? We just started. Brandon, you were saying you drove an hour to a call. I would never drive an hour to a call. I'm on the island, 15 miles long, 8 miles wide, 500,000 people, 348 repair shops. People beg me to go over the bridge. Not a chance. I'm leaving the island. So and I think we have a pretty good collection of people here that can give different examples of how different it can be. Weather, distance, clientele. So then I think that's why my idea was to put this together. We've been talking about this for about, 2 months. So I think it'll be helpful to those that are on the fence. I think there are a lot of smart guys. I think there are a lot of smart guys that are trapped in shops right now.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to hang struts and brakes and do water pumps on a 3.5 Ford anymore. I don't
know. I mean,
there's
some days I want to put some struts in. That's for sure.
True. That could be true. But you're talking about weather. I mean, okay. I mean, heck, earlier this summer it was 105 outside. I was diagnosing a vehicle. I had my tablet out, I had my Pico out, I had my programming computer out, my J2534 out, and I had an Autel out sitting on the bed of my truck, and I'm in the middle of diag and a torrential downpour hit. I mean, so you're talking about weather. I mean, it's not always rainbow and sunshine. So
it was like 22 degrees here all day.
Now, if we were like Cody, it would just be like, oh, it's a little hot. Let me get my hair dryer.
It's been cold here, man. It's like the high 70s.
To be honest with you, if I could move back to Arizona today, I would, like, in a heartbeat. But I was in the hotter area. I was in Yuma.
Yeah, Yuma is hell on earth, man.
Well, Yuma is the devil's asshole. Excuse my language, but that's what Yuma is. And
driving through and you see the border patrol, and you're like, man, I don't feel for you guys. I mean, you guys.
Well, you're driving down the road and you see is the road swaying? No, that's just the heat going across the road and it's making everything wiggly.
Why do your shoes melt to the asphalt?
Yeah, I mean, like whenever I was there in the Marines, it was like 130, 140 on the asphalt in the middle of the day, middle of the summer, and it's just radiating. It just. But I'd move back tomorrow if I could. I'd be right back there tomorrow. I loved it there.
It's got its perks, but I mean, then we don't deal with this. Well, it snowed the other day, but we don't deal with the snow and everything like you guys deal with and the extreme colds and stuff out there. I think I kind of got into this at the good time just because. Yeah, is it colder and stuff here? Yeah, but I'm not really faced with the elements like you guys are right now. It's not 10 degrees or anything. It's 40 degrees in the morning, sometimes 32 degrees, but by mid-afternoon it's 70 degrees. So I'm not dealing, it's not summertime yet. I may quit by then. Who knows,
Nah, you just invest in one of those canopies.
I got a Milwaukee fan in every van. So I'm like, in the summertime, you just put that fan in the passenger seat and point it at you.
Yeah.
Oh, I had one for my truck too. I'd sit on the bed of my truck and just stand there and just stare at it and blow in my face for a minute.
Well,
not a bad idea.
I'll tell you, today was probably the coldest day it's been. This morning it was, I don't know, 20 degrees with the wind whipping. And it was that kind of cold where you can't complete a thought. Well, you go, all right, I should check damn, it's cold. And you go, but I should go get my oh man, it's freaking cold. And I sat behind the seat of a Volkswagen Jetta with an ABS light on, going, what can I do from it forces you to really think smarter. And I know DeFazio has said this, sitting in a Jeep one time in the rain, what can I do from the passenger seat, the driver's seat, because I don't want to get out. That was me today, sitting in this car with the heat on going, I don't want to get out of the seat. What can I do right from here? Because I really got to think. I don't want to it's really cold.
Yep.
And it sucks if the car doesn't run, right?
And it was a quickie loop, so it wasn't like I can go inside. They don't even have a shop. They got 2 bays for a quickie loop and a car wash. I couldn't even make them bring the car in. There is no in.
Yeah, that was like my technician Jeff. He's like, it was freaking cold. It was probably like, I'd say 28 this morning. And he was like, the car was absolutely disgusting, full of cigarette butts, smelled like pot. He's like, but I didn't care. I sat in that thing and it absorbed the heat while I could, even though it was absolutely nasty because I didn't want to stand outside.
All right, I just got to call this out real quick. My guy that works for me, Zach, is on the chat. He's L1 Technician 3. He says, yep, it's nice. I got to say, I gave him the fans, and he also got a heated Milwaukee jacket for Christmas.
Dang.
That's what we had to do here.
You hired?
Yeah, like Jeff. We had a little Christmas get together with him and me and the wives and stuff for the business, and that's what he got was a heated jacket. He has been wearing that thing every morning.
Yeah,
I'd see him walk into the office and turn it off as he's walking into the office.
Zach's wearing a hoodie, and I'm like, hey, you don't. Oh, he's like, no, it's on underneath the hoodie.
I do want to get back. I saw somebody put up I'm trying to watch the chat and watch you guys, but Gearhead School actually put up a good question. Well, I guess we'll get to it or do it now. Can a well-established, high-demand mobile guy require a beta work?
Yes.
I
do.
Well, for me, I guess I'll start with the description. For me, it really all depends on what I'm doing. I try and do most stuff in the parking lot because I don't want to. The shop's calling me so that way they can continue working and not have to worry about doing what I'm doing. So I try not take up a bay where they could be making money. So that way it makes it, I guess, still profitable for the shop to have me there. But like, I
give it a
had
year.
Yeah.
You no longer care about their profits.
Yeah, I know.
You're there to make them money.
Yeah, that's true. But I had a transmission shop the other day, and I had to get down to actually, it was on my YouTube channel. It was a 1970 C10 where they did LS swap. I had to have them get that on the lift so I could get underneath it. But for the most part, I try and do stuff out of their way. Just, I don't know. I guess it's the southernese of me to be polite about it and try and stay out of their way while I'm working. But
y'all must not have tornadoes then.
Oh no. Well, I mean, Isaac's always just like, F the shop. I do what I want. So.
No, I mean, I did a wiring repair.
Shop.
Yeah, I did a wiring repair outside in the parking lot today. It was nice. So if it's not nice, I'm like, get this thing inside. I'm not doing this out here.
Oh yeah. I mean, like if it's 20 degrees outside, I'm not going to stand outside and freeze my knuckles off. If it's pissing rain, I'm not going to stand out underneath the hood trying to diagnose something. That'll go in the shop. But like if it's an average day, I try and stay out of their way as much as I can, just so that way that shop's still making money and they'll call me back more often. So.
Most of my shops now at this point, like, hey, we got it inside for you. We know you're coming.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And like Chad just said, you get disturbed less when you're in the parking lot. And a lot of times,
well,
the diag is going to take you. If the diag takes you 20 minutes, it's going to take them another 10 just to clear a spot and get the car inside. You just wasted 10. You might as well just go over and get the car done.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, see, that is the thing, and hopefully none of my shops are watching this, but it's like half the time I'm doing the diag with the tools that they already have in the shop, and I feel bad whipping out my Autel that they have setting in their shop doing the work whenever. So that's why I don't mind kind of staying back, just that way it's like out of sight, out of mind. They just, the car's fixed, or this is what I need. Thank you very much. We'll call you back.
But
so.
that's just it, Brandon. They're paying you for your tools, your timing, or your tools, your time, and your knowledge. So
and your experience.
We'll see that's true. But at the same time, and this could be the a-hole in me. Some shops will stand over your shoulder and watch you hit the buttons and watch you do what you're doing, so that way they don't have to call you back out for that exact same issue.
I tell them it's $50 to sit on my lap.
I was going to say, that's what I told Patrick. The guy who's really the best example of what we're talking about right now, I think, would be Patrick Masters. He always has a shop bring a car in. He gets them to clear a bay. He calls half an hour ahead, says, hey, I'm on the way. Could you get the car inside for me? Make sure it's got a good battery. And he always gives them that half an hour to an hour heads up. And I would say 95% of the times they accommodate them. And he's done a really good job of training his shops on to prepare for a mobile technician so that it can be the most profitable experience for you and them. Because having that setup and having them give you dedicated space, or already having an outlet or an extension cord run for you if they can't get it inside, that maximizes your profitability as a mobile guy, but that also maximizes their profitability because you're in and out fast. Yeah. And if you're talking dollars per hour per square foot, the best way to do that is train your shops.
It is.
I'm sorry. No, don't get me wrong. I got shops that will run drop cords out to me or do whatever. So I've got that going for me, but.
Your video froze, Brandon.
Uh-oh. What about my audio?
You're good.
You must have those the same Kia hamsters I do.
Yeah, I do.
Rona.
Uh-oh. I give up. Cody, it's us again, all over.
You, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics to that. Yeah, I for the most part, and I'm making it seem like I'm worse than what I am. I'm usually pretty chill about it. It's not that big a deal. I will do them outside. But if it starts to get really bad inclement weather, or if I've got it, I've been known to lay on the ground a few times to work on something. But if I've got to get down, it's coming in and it's going to lift. Because it is by the hour kind of situation where they're going to pay if I'm there too long because it's difficult to do. Zach, my other technician who is in the chat, he's got a broke arm right now. He's got a cast on his arm. So I make him do all the hard work, and no, I'm kidding. He's like
seniority rules.
Yeah, that's right. So he's coming off of being gone for 2 weeks, so he's got to do kind of light duty version of what he was doing, and that's difficult. And normally we tried not to give him a lot of diags, but like today he had to do one, and it was a crap job. Like it was a difficult one anyways. It was a no crank no start on a 15 Dodge. Because it had a starter interrupt GPS system from a car lot. So, unfortunately, this one was installed really, really well back behind the HVAC box on the passenger side attached to the BCM. So, yeah, he had to deal with that with a broken arm, and that kind of stuff rules in there. So you got to think, is how willing does the shop have to be to help the situation? How far are they willing to go to help you?
Oh, don't get me wrong, because like for me, I mean, I haven't told many people because I don't like to share my personal business. I'll probably be going out hard for a little bit because I mean, I tore my rotator cuff about 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been fighting that. And so I'm most likely going to be going out for rotator cuff surgery here soon. So I 100% feel what he's talking about. So,
well, we can have a good discussion about that. I had mine done a couple of years ago.
sweet. Mine's being done by the VA, so it might be a little scary if I still have an arm afterwards.
So let's go across. Let's pick a topic like what's the most difficult part about being mobile, Cody?
Most difficult part is for myself is charging appropriately, charging for my time. So there's times that I've been at a call for 2-3 hours and it's hard for me to charge them the full pop that I should be charging. And I knew that was going to be a struggle of mine even going into being mobile. Was if it was up to me, I would just be going around diagnosing and programming everybody for free just because I like helping everybody. But that doesn't help the industry. That doesn't help my lifestyle or anything else either. So I knew that was going to be a struggle for me. And I'm not a salesperson. I wasn't a service writer or anything else. So, the sales part of it is new to me. But it's knowing what you're worth and charging appropriately for it.
Yep. And I learned from Keith DeFazio that the sales part is also very important. He's a New Yorker, so he could sell anything to anyone. And
Catch up popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
Anything. It was amazing. He could just come up to a shop he's never been to, and then he'd be bagging, in the parking lot in the next minute. And that was really impressive and kind of eye-opening. Like, hey, that's a skill that's really, really useful. So, again, if you're shy, it's a lot harder. And then the pricing, you kind of, if you're just starting out, you start low and then you ramp it up. But if you're straightforward with your customer and you prove yourself, they'll pay whatever you ask, I think.
Most of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's true. Yeah.
That's the other thing I think everyone's got to remember is that as a mobile guy, not everybody is your customer.
That's a very true statement. I fired more shop. Like I had one the other day where they called me out there and I spent 3 hours on it and they're like, I don't want to pay you. And so I spent 3 hours there and then I had to fight with the guy. And then I was like, I mean, I could go ahead and leave and make more money. So I know that I'll never go back to that shop again type thing.
It's $300 when I show up before I start. For that guy, you got to charge him up front, double what your normal charge is before you start the work.
Oh, 100%. And and my tech, Jeff, he knows we will not go back to that shop until they pay up front.
Yep.
Because I've still got a PCM laying on the floor from where I purchased it for that shop. And they're like, never mind, we don't want to do anything. It's like, well, what am I supposed to be doing with this crap? So
my guy says tire shops with no lifts. He's trying to get me to fire this shop that keeps calling us out.
Hey, man, I'm not a tire shop with no lifts. I bet you fired me before I even finished the sentence.
So, Keith, you're up.
I'd fire me.
What's the most difficult part for you?
Again, I'm not going to, instead of trying to standardize it, like give you the most difficult part from when I was a single tech, I can tell you being a mobile business owner now who works a lot less in the business and a lot more on the business, I'm going to say, man, it's really difficult. I've been thinking about this. How do I can come up with, you guys are all going to have similar things when it comes to what's the most difficult thing for you as an individual, but as someone, I'm directing 2 technicians to go do things and I'm not answering the phone. So on my end, it's deciding how much time do I give each technician for training? Because I gotta determine, we all preached it when we were technicians. You got to give me training, you got to pay for it. And now as the person who's got to pay out for it, I got to decide how much. So mine's deciding how much time to invest in each individual technician in training to make them better. Where's the at what point is it worth the time and money? At what point have I spent too much time and lost profit? for me. So mine's investing in my guys. Where do I invest the money? Do I invest it in the tooling or do I invest it in the training? And the answer is obviously yes, but how much and what point? So for me, my most difficult part right now is deciding where to navigate my financial resources to be best for the business and for my technicians. Because I bought a lot of tools. Like, I pretty much got them all. And I just want more.
It's a bad habit. I feel like drugs or race cars might be cheaper.
Yeah, I did the race car thing. It was cheaper than this. We'll just say that I insure north of $400,000 of equipment.
Look, Isaac is my next door neighbor, and
you're
all
screwed.
he does it. Oh, trust me, I am. He's all the time. Brandon, check this shit out, and I'm like, whatever, Isaac, go ahead.
So, not to change the subject, but Joey Fitzpatrick has a good question. How do you guys handle misdiagnosis of the shop's parts? Say you get called out to do a program of the module and it does not communicate.
For me, I 100% charge them a show-up fee. So, like, I've got a good example, and it'll kind of tie into that as well as other things, and kind of, I guess, bring you onto the mobile. Sorry about my webcam; the battery went dead on it. But like for me today, I'll use today as an example. I had a shop call me with an Audi, which all you guys seen in the group chat, and I was like, I can try it. So I drove an hour out of my way to go try it. Couldn't, and so I couldn't charge them. But if that shop called me and was like, hey, can you program this Audi? And I knew that I could, and I go out there and the Audi is not ready for me to program, they get charged a show-up fee because I took time out of my day to go to that shop and do whatever they asked me to do. It's not my fault that the vehicle was not prepared or ready or whatever. And I mean, that's the same as like, I think a bunch of you guys seen that Toyota that I did, the Sienna where it was missing like the battery, the intake, and all that other crap, and they wanted me to program a module. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? They got charged a show-up fee because I had to drive all the way out there. I had to do it. So it's not my fault that the vehicle was not prepared and ready for me to get there. And then now, don't get me wrong, the shop was upset. It's like, well, why do I have to pay extra? Well, you have to pay extra because you, as a shop owner, said, hey, it's ready for you, and it was not. So me as a business owner, I have to be as a business owner, I've got to charge you, because if not, then I'm losing money. If I lose money, I go out of business and I can't service you later on.
And there is definitely a balance between, and I've told shops this, like, you want to charge them, like, I spent extra time here. Some of it was my fault, some of it was your fault. And again, you have to pay the bills, but I've said this to them, I said, listen, I don't want to hurt you financially, right? I want you to, your shop has to be profitable, right? Because if they go out of business, well, that doesn't do you any good, right? So they have to make money, you have to make money, the customer has to get a fair deal. You know, you're not going to rob the customer, so do the right thing by the customer, the shop does the right thing, and you do the right thing by them. And as long as, you know, we cover our time and our bills, and there's always some flexibility depending on the situation, and that's one of the hurdles of being mobile, right? Judge your customers, they're good customers, they call me 16 times a week. They screwed up this one, okay, but then you got the other shop that just screws up every time they call you. So you gotta make your rules, and then you bend them.
Yeah.
You break them. I do it all the time. I you know, and that's staying on topic with, you know, what's the most difficult part is, you know, this is the island. There is a lot of shops I haven't even introduced myself to yet. I haven't, and I know they know that DeFazio left, and they want to know, you know, so who's took his place, and because there's not a lot of guys out here doing what I do. So, you know, I was told, hey, go see so-and-so, give me a card. I'm like, I can't, because I give my card and then they're going to call me and I can't service them because I got no time. And I really want to fix everything. And that's part of my problem. I have this Nissan Rogue. Oh.
The Rogue.
Everybody knows this story. At this point, it's personal. I want to fix it. And the shop is very patient. They're like, yeah, do what you got to do. The guy's not even asking for it. And I should have walked away from this car a long time ago. But on the that's the most difficult part for me, is saying no, because the things are available to me. The help is there. I have a good network of people. I have a good availability of tools. If I don't have them, I can borrow most of the time. I hate to say no, because I should be able to fix this, and that's an ego thing, I guess. And that's all of our problems, right? We don't do this. I think I can speak for most of us. We're not doing this strictly for the money. We just love to do what we do. And because of that, we want to fix everything because we can, and it makes us feel good. And then the money comes afterwards. Something to that effect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
Go ahead, bud.
No. All right. I could probably speak for every single one of us. You made the perfect comment. We want to fix or figure out everything. That's what led us into the career path that we are, is we are all tinkerers in our own mind and trying to figure out that puzzle. Like, we want to solve the puzzle. And sometimes you just have to know when to cut your losses on it, which I know for the Murano, that's been an ongoing thing. And that's one of those ones where it's like, I'm not cutting my losses. I will figure this one out. But, but on a lot of vehicles though, you just have to be like, it's not worth my time, because by the time I charge you appropriately, which by the way, as a mobile person, if you're watching this video, you have to charge appropriately. If I charge appropriately, I have now tripled, quadrupled, or even whatever else the cost of that vehicle before you even figure it out. Because sometimes it is just nuts what you're having to go through to diagnose that vehicle properly. Because I'll go ahead and say it. The mobile life is good, but 90% of our diags is the shop's already spent $3,000 on that vehicle, and then they're calling us out to diagnose that vehicle. So now we already know going into it, it's like, well, this vehicle is just going to be one hell of a fun thing to do. And
did they introduce more issues by putting crap parts on there?
Always. Always.
Or you walk in there going, well, I know it ain't that, because they just put a brand new factory part on. They did the coils. They already put the plugs in it. So sometimes they help you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they not help you.
Well, you can't say that, because no new part is a good part.
New is an acronym for never ever worked.
NEW, right?
Yeah, never ever worked.
Keith says. Especially in Staten Island.
Yeah.
But like how you're saying, like, what did the shop do? Like Cody made that statement. What did the shop do before that? I had one. I went out and diagnosed. It was a E350. It ran like hell. It ran like the cats were stopped up. But some of you guys seen the video in our group chat where somebody had cut the cats before I even cranked the vehicle up, so I knew it wasn't stopped up cats. But that's how it ran. Well, they had already put all brand new injectors in it. They put brand new coils, brand new plugs, yada yada yada. And I'm doing my diag, and I realized, okay, I can push down on the injector, and the vehicle runs better. I was doing a power balance test, and I had Jeff with me. He pushed down 2, I pushed down 2, and the vehicle started running good. I was like, all right, so most likely it was like a 20-year-old vehicle. I was like, you need new injector pigtails. Well, come to find out, on this vehicle, it had 2 sets of injectors that could go. It had an early build and a late build. The late build had the
330 seconds pins and the
where they stick up more towards the top.
Yeah.
And they had put the other ones on there, so that's why whenever I pushed down on the pigtails, it was running better. It made more sense. And I guess that kind of goes into what you were saying as far as like, what did they do? But then also somebody in the comments, I forgot who it was, made the comment, well, what do you do for misdiagnosis? I mean, technically that was a misdiagnosis on our part, because we didn't realize that the shop had installed the wrong injectors. So I had to go back out there and re-diagnose it for free, because it was technically a misdiagnosis, but we didn't realize that till after we finished our diag that they had the wrong injectors in the vehicle. So,
well, I'll just add to that real quick. How about you go out to a shop for a parasitic drawer on a Honda, and you tell them to put the interior fuse box has to be replaced. The MICU is bad, and the MICU is drawing, and you take it out for them and you hand it to them. You say, here, you have to get one of these, and they call you back. They say, we got it. We put it in, and it still has the same problem. And you go, I missed it. I don't know what I must have screwed up. And you go out there and you check it and you're going, how'd you get the car to run? I said, well, we turned the key. No, it's got to be programmed. It's an 07 Honda Civic. The immobiliser's got to be set. No, car started and ran. I said, it's funny, I got the same exact problem. So I guess.
Yep.
They put the same
McHugh back in.
Put the same fuse box back in. Now what do you do? You charge them?
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so Corey, what do you do?
That's their fault. You got to re-diagnose it.
I didn't build it, break it, or buy it. I'm here to just figure out what happened.
Yeah.
Correct.
So do you charge in?
Cody said it before, and I think he stole it from me. Fixing your car, diagnosing your car requires time, tooling, knowledge, and experience. I charge for all four.
Yep.
And if you get there and you automatically know it's like, okay, stupid, you put the other module in, what the heck? I charge them a show-up fee. I might not charge them my full diag. If I already know it's like, hey, stupid, you put the wrong module in, then they get charged just a show-up fee. But it's not like I won't charge them the whole thing. So
do you give them a warning first, or is it like a repetitive? You know,
I will say
that calls you weekly. Do you just like?
Okay. Now I know you're kind of newer, and I'm not saying that I'm seasoned because I've only been doing it for like 5 more months than you.
I'm glad you put them on the sides of the screen.
Yeah.
but
my video works, bud.
Hey. This is us, you know. Every time we do this, one of us has to be screwed up.
I know.
But like I've got some shops that call me for pretty much every diag. They don't even diag vehicles anymore. They just call me.
Yep.
So if they call me and they're like, "Hey, something's messed up," I am more amped to assist them without charging, because I'm not going to burn a bridge and upset the shop, because they're a good moneymaker. And us as mobile people, this is our business, this is our livelihood, so you have to charge. But I'm not going to burn a bridge on a really good shop. Now, if it's a shop that never calls me and they're like, hey, diagnosis over the phone, or what do you think on this? No, they get charged. I'm not going to just do whatever. I'm going to go back out there. Okay, you messed up on this. I am now going to recharge you. So, but I guess that's just how I run my business.
I'll re-answer my question from earlier. So my hardest thing was probably the same as your guys' is figuring out how much to pay. Then part of the way through my career, the hardest thing was not giving away all the answers for free on the phone every time a customer called. And that's why I gave up the phone.
That is common. I get that a lot.
Yeah. Now I'll retract some of my stuff. What you just said, Keith, that screwed me over. We have this slow time going into December. I realized that I was answering a whole lot more questions over the phone than I was there at the shop.
Mm-hmm. So
that kind of screwed me over in an aspect of I wasn't charging them for my knowledge. So it's a catch-22. Do you help them or not? Business aspect, you need to do what you can for your business, but then sometimes us as the good people that we are, we kind of fall into the, well, let me just help you out real quick. So,
well, I'll tell you when I do it, and this is going to sound funny. If they call me and say, hey, we got this car and I'm trying to figure this out. What do you think? If I'm backed up, if I'm 8, 10, 20 cars backed up, I'll help them out over the phone because I can't get there anyway. So let me see if I can at least do the right thing by them, let them try to walk them through it a little bit. Because what am I going to do? No, you know what? I'll just come and check it out. But I can't get there for 4 days. It's kind of the same thing when if you like the shop that puts the wrong part in, or they accuse you of misdiagnosis, you got to go back and then you got to rebuild them, right? You could do it, but then it's like if you get to that point where even if they don't understand, let's say they don't understand, let's say this shop they put the same box back in, or they buy it. Let's say they get a used part, you go back and the used part's no good, so you went back out there for nothing. Now you got to go back out a third time, which is a BMW I'm dealing with right now. They got a used transmission module that's no good. I got to go back out again. So yeah, do I bang him over the head like, okay, by every hour? And then the guy, he doesn't understand. He's going to get pissed off. He'll never call me again. Before you know it, I have no shops because they all think I'm robbing them because they just don't understand. You can explain it till you're blue in the face. Some shops just don't get it. So you have to
I got
spend
a funny
a
one.
little bit, to make it how far do you bend before you're shortchanging yourself, but you want to keep the shop happy. You try to make them understand the best you can. Try to find that middle ground where you're still profitable, they're still making $1, and you say, listen, guys, next time, this is what's going to happen because you explain it.
And I think that's good. I had a shop that, I feel that I charged them a fair amount. It was a big learning curve for me. And you guys, I think you guys kind of know about it. But just for guys that don't, I got called to a shop that a vehicle failed emissions because it did not have the VIN inside the PCM. Well, so they sent the PCM off to go get bench flashed. It got bench flashed. It came back and now became a no start. Now it's setting hybrid codes. So another programmer came out, tried to do his thing. He couldn't figure it out. So then he calls me to come out and take a look at it. So I come out and everything, and I'm looking at it, and it's a work vehicle. It's a 05 Silverado. I'm looking for the battery under the back seat. I'm looking for the stuff underneath the hood. There is absolutely no hybrid stuff on this vehicle. Long story short, I ended up going to the RPO codes. It had RPO code HP2, it was originally a hybrid. So somewhere in its life, before the company that owned the construction company, it was a hybrid. So whether they bought it from auction, whatever it may be. So when it got flashed back to factory with the PCM, VIN and everything in it. So how do you overcome that? So it was a learning curve for me on my strategy on how I went about it. And I had hours into it. But Corey says it best and stuff. It's like, the first time you do anything, it's going to take you a while, and then once you get it down, this same job could take me probably an hour and a half this next time. But do you charge how long it took you the first time, or do you, that's where I told the shop, I was like, look, it should be this price. This is why I'm charging you guys this. This is kind of where it's at. And now the next one, it's going to be a good profit. It's still going to be fair for the shops and everything, but it can be done in a quarter of the time that it originally took me. Which
is why the goal is 20 minutes for a diag.
Yeah.
Because it's for the audience, the guys outside the automotive world, maybe like the customers may be watching this. It may sound maybe unfair, but we charge minimum 1 hour. If it takes me 10 minutes, it's an hour. If it takes me 40 minutes, it's an hour. So the goal is, DeFazio used to do this when I first started with him. He'd send me on a call, and I'd get there, and he'd be sitting in his truck in a parking lot at the call, and I said, "What are you doing here?" He goes, he'd look at his watch and go, "That truck right there is a no start. They put a fuel pump in 3 weeks ago. Now it's a crank no start. Go." I kid you not, he's done that. Go, and he sits in his truck. He doesn't get out, and he puts his seat back like this. And he waits, and I come back, and he goes, I go, "It needs a fuse box." He's blah blah blah, and he goes, 22 minutes. You're getting a little better. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you say they can't understand, but I mean, I would assume most of the people that's watching this is flat rate, so they should understand that time is money, and money is time.
Even on our end.
Yeah. So you can't think of your wallet as the customer, just because our customer is different than your customer, as the average technician. The customer is the end user, our customer is the shop. Well, they're calling you out there for your services. You have to charge accordingly for your services, which, like how Cody said, it took longer on that vehicle than what he should have, but that was his learning. Well, that was the same for me. First time I ever bench blast a module, I was on the phone with Isaac, and that thing went up in smoke because stupid me put well, I'm going to be honest, stupid me put positive to negative and negative to positive because it had 5 different powers, 6 different grounds, and I mixed one of them up and I let that magical smoke out. Well, I couldn't charge the shop for that module, so I had to eat the module. I had to eat my time. But now I learned, it's like, well, now I double check and I don't let magical smoke out anymore.
And your first time bench flashing, not having the cables
in there too. Be careful.
Yeah.
What's that?
When the first time bench flashing, not having the Go, Corey. Go.
I said there's sparks in there too. Don't let those out either. Sorry.
Well, that's just it. So I mean, but how much did you learn on that first time, Brandon? You know what I mean? Like,
hang on, I'll show you how much I learned. This was the first programming. I had this, and then after I lit it up and smoke with this, I made my own. It's somewhere down here. Ignition switch. Didn't let it up and smoke, and then I was like, "Hey, stupid! Why don't you buy this?" Now I have this for my, bench flash.
Oh, you weren't using that?
No, that was prior to Isaac. Like, hey, stupid! Why don't you buy the proper tools to do the job instead of doing that MacGyver crap?
It's like $120, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on. Nobody has ever said Isaac did not suggest MacGyvering something. Let's get that straight.
Well, that is true. What was that one? What was that one
in my life have I advocated not MacGyvering?
And what was that one the other day? Whenever I was flashing it, and I showed you the CAN network, and you're like, "I mean, it's not that noisy. Let's try it and see what happens."
I've seen worse.
Put another resistor on it.
Yeah.
I'll have to find the text. But it was funny because Isaac was pretty much like, I mean, what's the worst what could happen? I was like, screw it, YOLO. Next.
No. So I got one. Hold on. So this right here, I got called out to a shop. They bought a module that was listed on eBay as a new GM body module for an H3. And I get to the shop, and they're a good shop, really smart guys. They're electronics guys, but they don't do programming. They are where you take your LS swapped car for electrical issues. They have all the old schools, all the stuff I don't know how to work on. They're all over it. But when it comes to newer stuff, the programming, they call me in, and it's great because it creates a good relationship. My buddy's stereo shop's right there. But anyway, they call me out there to go program it, and I open the door to this H3, and it smells like a Volkswagen swimming pool. I mean, you open the door, and you could just smell all the mold. And they said, okay, the module's new. And I went to program it, and it was kind of like what Brandon was saying. I was kind of like, well, okay, we're just going to shoot for it. Car smells moldy, but whatever. I had a feeling it was going to be water-related. Programmed it, and it failed at 100%. Every time SPS loaded, it'd go to 100% and it'd fail. And doot. Okay, cool, whatever. So then after the third time of going through it, I was like, all right, I'm going to go look at this. I opened the door, and the body control module they have has a shorted wire on it. Inside the control module, there's a trace that's burned up. And then I look at the original one, and this is the original one. I don't know if it's green screen. That's terrible. Yeah, you can still sort of see it. This is all corrosion there next to the plug. You can see the corrosion under that plug. Wow. And the new body control module was even worse than the original, but it's still, I was like, you know what, whatever. I wasn't going to go through and diagnose the CAN network. So I told them, just get a new one and we'll go again. And I'm waiting for their call. They should have a new one Monday.
Yeah, I mean,
out of that whole conversation, you know what I got? I got the sound effect, because I think we can all relate to certain sounds that we wait to hear when we're programming. Next noises, you hit connect and you hear bloop, bloop, and you go, okay, we're good. Bam, bam. And you go, oh, that's bad.
Here, hold on. I'm going to give everybody on this chat a nightmare.
Today. I'm like,
oh, he's going to do the Windows.
that whole butt clinch moment when you hit the button.
that one, yes.
And it's like, all right, I'm going to hit the button now. And you wait to hear the noise, and it connected. You go, all right, we're connected. I hear it. And then you watch the progress bar, and it went past 5% for a Nissan Nurse. We're good. We're past 5%. All right.
Voltage is stable.
Well,
you go, oh, man.
Well, like the one I was talking about where I was talking to Isaac, they had already sent the vehicle to the dealership. The dealership bricked the TCM. It was in a Tahoe. They bricked it. Then they were like, well, we replaced it with the used one. Can you come out here and program it? And so I went out there. I get all the way. It got to 100%. And then as soon as it got to 100%, it's loading. Boop, boop. It's like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So then I go and redo the programming again, get to 100%. And then as it's searching the network, after it's 100%, boop, boop. And I'm out in the middle of their yard in the grass, and it had been raining for 2 days. It was covered in mud. I was like, I'm not laying on the ground. So I went and told them, I was like, there's something else. And the second that I cycle this key, the module that is in here is no good. And they're like, well, what do we do? I was like, well, I'd probably recommend start with the new module, put it in, have the vehicle inside, and I'll diagnose it. So I got there, I diagnosed it, charged them for my diag fee. Come to find out, it was a dirty network. If anybody doesn't know what a dirty network is, it's just there's a whole lot of like noise and everything else going on in the network. And so I ended up having to split the network in half at a junction spot so that way I could program it. Now, since we're talking about mobile, it's a business, you have to charge them for that. So they got charged the normal diag, the normal programming, plus a fee for splitting the network in half, because that is my time to lay under the dash, unplug crap, and get everything ready to go. So they all got charged accordingly.
And this is a perfect time to do a shameless plug for Perkins right here for his L1 Diagnostics training website, because learned
Isaac was on the phone with me whenever I was doing it, and I was like, "Oh, we hit 100%, no boo boop," and Isaac's like, "Well, screw it, whatever."
Yeah, I was out of the window today. I was like, "This failed once." I was like, "Come on, baby, just do this."
Yeah. Oh, trust me, my onion ring was like this while I was programming that, just trying to make sure that it went
That is
through.
the pucker noise.
That is the
trust me, it is, because I heard it. I was like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me." And I'm in the mud. I'm like, I am not laying on this freaking mud to be able to split the network in half or do whatever I got to do. Because Isaac's like, "Just go down to the transmission and do it." And I was like, not in the mud. No, thank you.
Hey, but Cody made a good plug there for Keith's website, right? And that's the humble part of it, is that I'm subscribed. Cody's subscribed. I don't know. I guess everybody's almost subscribed. Guys looking, well, you don't have to subscribe to those channels because you know what you're doing. I go, I subscribe to all of them.
Yeah.
I watch.
Well,
I sit here in my truck. I sit here in my truck driving job to job with my phone exactly where it is, with videos running, because most of his videos are like PowerPoint slide presentations, so I don't have to stare at it, and I can drive and I can listen, and I've probably learned more in the last 2 years, just in general, than the last 8. I got caught in like Keith was just saying, you get to the point where you're working on your business, not in your business. When I had my last shop, I spent a lot of time working in the office, not in the shop, and you get away from the wrenches, and you get complacent, and you get out of touch a little bit, and that's where I got for a while. And then I started getting back into it. DeFazio pushed me, let's get back into training, started dragging me to training events. I started doing some mobile stuff with him. The last 2 years has been 3 years has been huge. The last year, you want to talk about learning on like steroids? Yep. Do mobile, you will learn on steroids. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in a shop, you do brakes, you do struts, and this is no offense to anybody working in a shop, but you do the brakes, the struts, the tune-up, and then you get the neat diag job, and then you go back. Every job I do, 90% of them is like unique, and it's diag, and it's not the norm, and it's so you're forced to learn it, just stay in it and learn it, and like Cody said, you learn it, you put your time in the first time, and then you make it up on the second time. Because I should have been here 2 hours. It really should have taken me 45 minutes. You charge them the hour. You eat the other hour. The other hour becomes, it's like paid training. Yep. It cost me an hour to learn it, so it's paid training. It's fine. The old adage, guys that want to learn, this is in any industry. You want to learn in this industry, go to somebody you aspire to be, and say, I want to work for you for 3 months for free. I am going to work harder and faster than anybody else. And after 3 months, if I'm not worth your time, we shake hands and go opposite ways. If not, you offer me a job and I'll work for you. And you consider that 3 months training for you. And it's nobody's taking advantage of you. But if it's somebody you look up to and aspire to be, that is the best training. That is hands-on training, and you make it worth their time for you to be there. And that's what you do. At the end of the day, I like to say you got to like Mondays. You got to love Mondays. I love Mondays.
I love Mondays too.
Yeah. Now,
I don't mean that to be funny. That's a ridiculous background, by the way. Why do you have that up there?
I'm trying to listen to you, and I'm like, I got Brandon over here. I was like, I need to go get another beer.
For guys that are looking to do this, And that's the thing. The guys are looking to do this. Maybe you love the industry, you love working on stuff, but you're just not happy doing it the way you're doing it. Right. You have to make a change. I'm not saying mobile is it, but it's definitely a thing. It's difficult to say, well, I'm going to try it out for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Because,
you have to commit.
if you look at the back of my truck here, this didn't happen, haphazardly with all this equipment back here. I spent more on equipment in the last 13 months than I have in the last 12 years. I just keep buying everything. I subscribe to everything. I buy
doesn't
everything.
end.
So, yeah,
Okay, so
I'm not nearly where you are, Keith. I'm nowhere near where you are, and maybe more than somebody else. Brandon, you got to stop with the green screen. Oh my God! But
should have never showed him how to do that.
I really want to point because we'll do this. We could, like Keith said in the beginning, we could probably break this up into sections about licensing and insurance and how to grow your clientele. We can break this up into segments, and I'd be willing to do it because I think it's good for me. I love being a part of it, and I love helping and sharing, and guys have helped me out a lot, so I want to pass that on. So if at the end of the day, you got to love. I make a joke. I go around to people, and I learned this from this guy Gary Vaynerchuk. If anybody knows him, you ask somebody, "What's your favorite day? What's your favorite day of the week? Do you like Mondays?" And most people go, "Nah, I hate Mondays." Well, what's your favorite day of the week? "Oh, I love Fridays." Why? Because of the weekend. And they go, most people go, "Yeah, because I love Saturday, Sundays." So you spend 65% of your life waiting for the other 35%. That's a pretty shitty way to live. When you say it like that, most people go, "Ooh, I love Mondays. I love doing this. I think I feel like I found my calling, so to speak. I probably suck at it, but I'm trying." And so there's a lot to learn, and to do mobile you're not just going to run out there and start diagging stuff and rolling in the money, and it's going to take you 10 minutes and you're going to fill a ton. That doesn't happen. But there's a lot of
that statement's true, like 100%. And I don't know if Cody can contest or admit. I know for me at most of the shops, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I happen to be able. I'm one of the. Well, yeah. I'm able to figure stuff out. I've always been kind of good at solving puzzles. And so diagnostics was kind of like the puzzle solving as an adult. And in a shop, I was always fairly decent at the diag aspect of everything. Well, as a mobile guy, you have to take what you do in a shop and literally whip that out the window, because it is not the same. It is the same as in your process might be the same. This is what I'm going to do. It might be the same as in I'm going to test this component, but you're out of your element because you're going into a different shop. You're going into people that you don't know. Even if you've been to that shop 100 times, they might have 5 new techs that are standing over your shoulder. Who is this guy in my shop diagnosing this vehicle or programming that vehicle? So you have to take all of that into account, because you might have what in a shop is a 30-minute diag. Whenever you're first getting into this and learning the business and learning how to do it, that 30-minute diag is going to turn into a 2-hour diag. And it has absolutely nothing to do with your ability, your time, your management, or what you can do. But it all comes back down to you're out of your element. So if anybody's watching this video and they're like, "Oh, I could be a mobile diag," well, you probably can, because it is, if you're able to do it in a shop, you can do it mobily. But you have to know that whenever you go mobile, you're going to have that first 3 or 4 months where you're charging somebody an hour and you were there for 5 hours because you could not figure it out because you were out of your element. And that was the biggest issue that I ran into. And, whenever I first started out, Isaac was kind of my leaning board, and Isaac legit probably was like, "Are you freaking serious? Brandon is calling me again. I've got my own work." But, it was having that kind of backboard or somebody to lean on, because I was so far out of my element. So if you're wanting to go mobile, you can, and you have the ability, but you're going to be out of your element. So that first 3 or 4 months. That's where that
network is.
Yeah. Well, network. Yes. Network. Because you might be like, well, crap, I can't figure this out. And then next thing you know, you're at that shop for 2 hours because you're waiting on somebody from Facebook to respond. Like, how would I proceed on this? Well, you can't charge that shop the 2 hours while you were waiting on that good answer from Facebook to lead you in the direction that you need to go.
Corey's
because
got an answer to that. Corey. No, as far as he has a way of getting out if you're just stuck there at a shop or whatever. No,
Don't give away
I
my
think it's
secret.
brilliant.
I got watching. sometimes
Calling you out.
Sometimes the server is down.
Well, I used that one today. Whenever I couldn't do that Audi, it wasn't I couldn't do the Audi. It was like the server's down, which I was not lying because whenever I was using my Altel, it said it could not connect to the server. So I was not lying to the shop.
I have to go. I have to go back to the office and print out some information, and then come back.
Yep.
I've used that one. I've used tech support.
Yep.
Waiting for tech support.
But you know what? But
now hold on. The waiting for tech support thing.
Yeah.
But that's real though. But that's real.
I was gonna say the waiting for tech support thing. So one of my favorite things is I can plug in my AutoLogic, and I literally can be waiting for tech support, and I can do the job of 2 guys on site because of that tool sometimes and the support. Like, I'm not a Volkswagen dude at all. There's a lot of help that I require to fix a Volkswagen, not my area of expertise, and so I kind of lean heavy when it comes to that on some support of my friends and support of other people.
So we all just call Martino.
Keith?
Yeah.
So we all just call Martino and make him fix it.
Now look, man, my first car was a 71 Volkswagen Bus. That was as complicated as a toaster oven, and that is where my knowledge of Volkswagen ends.
I will say I've gotten really good at Volkswagen since going mobile because of seeing so many of them. I didn't hardly ever mess with them. I've gotten really good at Otis. I feel like I've got it down.
Again, that's the change in dynamic from what you may see in a shop to what you see mobile. If you're in that particular shop on that particular corner that attracts that certain kind of clientele, then you're only working on 15-year-old GM vehicles, or maybe that shop does a whole lot of GM vans, or maybe that shop does a whole lot of Nissans, and that's what you're going to work on. When you go mobile, you're doing all of them. But to balance off what Brandon was saying about you're out of your element, time management's huge.
Yep.
You're going into a shop. If you know you're going into a shop to program a module, that's going to take 4 hours. The only thing worse than that is not realizing it's going to take 4 hours. You go and you think, I'm going to get out of here in 45 minutes, and that thing's a 4-hour program. If you're in a shop, if it's your shop, you're working at a shop, you start the program, you can walk away, and you can go do something and check on it.
Money, something else.
Right. When you're mobile, you're sitting there. Unless they have another shop, unless they have another car for you to look at while you're there, if you're lucky enough. If not, what do? You're stuck.
Probably not the most. If you care about your equipment aspect of what I'm about to say, and
nope,
I ran into.
I know where you're going.
Well, I ran into this. A shop, they swapped a battery in a Jeep Cherokee. It was a 2017 Cherokee. And after they swapped the battery, it had a complete CAN system failure. Every CAN system was down on the vehicle. Well, come to find out, it needed a proxy alignment. Well, to do a proxy alignment, they want you to update every module before you do the proxy alignment. What module needed to be programmed on this 2016 or 17 Cherokee?
Cluster.
The cluster. 6 hour programming.
And you started it at 3:30.
No. I started this one at 10 o'clock. And I'm sitting there programming. I'm like, crap, I got like 4 other jobs today. Programming. That's 2 hours later, it's still other program. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Wow.
So this is where you kind of come into trust your surroundings, know kind of what you're doing. I trust it. You come back to the demographics, like you had made a comment earlier about your demographics. The demographic of where I was in the shop, I could trust them, and I trusted to leave my $4,000 laptop with my $2,000 pass through sitting there for 6 hours, and I ended up going
and your phone.
Yes, like legit. That was probably the most
nerve-wracking.
Yes, because people don't understand how much they need their phone until they do not have their phone. Yep. But yeah,
but that is unique to being a mobile tech right there.
Correct.
That's it.
You don't think of. And see, I had a 100-foot extension cord out to this vehicle. So that means that I was nowhere near Wi-Fi, which means that I had to leave my phone during this 6-hour programming, and I had to leave my computer setting in the vehicle, and I had to leave the pass-through and my cell phone for 6 hours. But as a mobile tech, you have to continue being a business owner. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs for whatever. And I went and did 2 more programmings. Luckily, those other programmings were, I only needed my Autel to, reprogram these couple of other vehicles, and then I came back.
Wait. Can we cover something real quick for everyone listening?
Yeah.
Autels don't program anything. Just for everyone listening, please stop asking.
Yeah, that is true. I had to use my Autel to write a VIN
or do coding or configure something or do theft or something. So just so everyone's listening, just so we can be really, really clear to everyone listening, because I have to cover this in every single one of my videos. 99.999% of the time, your Autel does not program anything. Please don't ask me. Please don't buy one and expect it to program.
Correct.
I got a question.
Now,
So how do you replace the battery in the Jeep?
Like an hour.
Huh?
How do you actually replace the battery then, without doing the 6-hour programming?
Well, most likely what happened is they didn't put a battery name just went on my head. Plug it in so that
maintainer,
there you go.
A battery saver, yeah. Now it doesn't happen every time you change the battery though.
Correct.
I've done a lot of them where it didn't happen. It's like a known thing with some of these late model Chryslers. They just wig out and you got to do a proxy alignment, and it does make you update.
Ooh. Did anybody watch my live stream from I think it was yesterday, where I got called out to program a BCM in a 2015 Renegade? And I said, yeah, I could do that in a minute. I'll be right out. Came out, swapped the BCM, and I could program it, but you can't do the proxy alignment or the system configuration in a 2015 Renegade, which is the same platform as a Fiat 500X.
Yeah.
You have to do it with the micropod. Only that platform.
Yeah.
Wait, you can't use a Cardac on it?
Nope.
No, it won't. It won't.
I have a brand new. Wait, I got the brand new Cardac right here behind me, behind my seat. I said, I got the brand new Cardac. I'm ready to go. And I used that instead of my Autel J-Box, and I couldn't do it. And I said, what am I missing? And it kept failing. It says couldn't connect with the instrument panel of all things. And I got AutoLogic, tech support, quick plug. The tech support is phenomenal. Real quick. Like Keith has said, sometimes it's like, hey, can I do this? I hit him up. The guy calls me up. I go, help me. He goes, I cannot help you. I went, what? He goes, you can't do that car. What do you mean I can't do that car? I got everything. I got the Isaac laptop. I got my Cardac. I got the subs. I got
Isaac micropod.
I got it. He goes, you don't have a micropod. I went, yes, so? He said, that car and only that car, along with the Fiat 500. You can do the 500C, but not the 500X, because it shares the platform with the Renegade, and they changed the protocol in that vehicle, that platform. That car has to go back. If you don't have a micropod, it has to go back to the dealer.
And that's where networking is huge. I had no idea about that. So
yeah.
And I said, I listened to a certain individual who says read the service information, and I did, and it said nothing about this in service. And I asked the guy, I go, I read the service information. It didn't say this. He goes, no, it doesn't. He goes, I went through this the first time. Excuse me. He goes, first time I saw it, it's not in service information anywhere. He goes, I can tell you now, I've already received a bunch of phone calls. So-and-so, Miss Jones went to the mall, came out, the battery was dead. Tow truck showed up, put a new battery in it, and the car will start but not go in gear is the most common thing because it's the proxy alignment. I said, so I got to put the other body control module back in here. He said, yes. I go, is that going to be a problem? He goes, it's going to start and not come out of gear. I looked over and went, it's a stick shift. I'm good. He goes, you're going to be good. I said, okay, and that's what happened. The check engine light was on for mismatch, ID mismatch.
Yeah.
Car started and raining, went back to the dealer. And I lost, just going back to what we said before, I lost a good hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes playing with this car. and not to mention
And a short-term sub, and a Tech Authority sub, and a flashing token, and a
plus your
I will say, wait,
$110. Plus your
Well,
$110.
$111.95.
I actually,
Just counting.
Again, time management. Wait, we talk about time management and cost management. I put 2 Chrysler together in the same day so I can benefit from the sub. So I already did one. So I had this subscription for White Tech and Tech Authority anyway. So it was only half a loss, but I did lose the token for the car. You know, you had to buy the token for the VIN, so I did lose that, but it is what it is. It's, you know, I didn't blow up a $1,100 module, nothing crazy, but it sucked. It was a learning experience.
Yep.
Again, we learn every day.
Yep.
Maybe I should have called
Now-
ahead of time. But the networking is huge. You know, we have a benefit nowadays, and that's not just for the mobile guys. This is the industry as a whole. You know, when I started this 100 years ago, legit 34 years ago, I'm in the industry. Back then, networking was the guy to your left and right. The guy to your left didn't have a clue, and the guy to your right knew, and he didn't want to share it with you because you're just a young punk.
Yep.
So there was no Facebook, there was no networking. You couldn't go online, and you couldn't call people. I didn't know any of you guys. I would have never known you guys 30 years ago. It's impossible. It would never. This is only in the last like 15 years that this has been built up to be able to do what we're doing right now. Right? We're from opposite ends of the country right now to be able to do this. So for people that aren't taking advantage of this, whether you're mobile or not, shame on you. Reach out. My phone. Listen, I call all you. I've called everybody in here for help at one time or another. Probably too much. To the point you stop blocking me.
Brandon,
honestly,
can I write the VIN in the Sorrento? I'm sorry, Corey, you cannot write the VIN in the Sorrento.
Right, exactly.
Hey, are you talking about me?
With what tools you've got currently.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
But
going to
here's
say,
the
I
funny
bet I
part.
can write the VIN to it.
I look forward to the point to the time when one of you guys calls me for help, and I can actually help you. And that's the you know, I love the industry part of it. You know, because you know you've all helped me out immensely. So yeah, and I think we can all pretty much go that, like, even when the day is busy and I'm denying phone calls, I'm not, and then one of you guys calls and I go, no, I got to take this one. What's up? Can I help? You know, Keith, you even called me that one day. You had that Nissan. You were trying to program. No, the Ford. You were trying to do the body control module in.
Yeah.
And you ran into that. And like you called me and you go, hey, I think I just ran into the same problem you did. I was like, yeah, you know, what can I do? You know. How can I help? You know, so.
And I said, no, I figured it out. It was the IDS, and you had FJDS. We're 99% of the time the tool that you have would have done it, but it happened to be a little easier on my end.
And networking again. At least
Yep.
The information was there. We were able to put an end to that story and understand what went wrong. So yeah, the mobile side of it. I mean, that's networking in general for anybody, but networking becomes more critical to when you're mobile. It's more critical to have networking.
Yeah.
So that you can reach out to these guys that are doing the same thing you're doing, because we're running into this every day. Every day is a learning curve. Not to mention the business end. You got to know the laws in your area. You have your insurance, your licensing. Where can I park my vehicle in the street?
Well, I know I've reached out to every single one of you, you know, Corey and everything else, Brandon and insurance, you know, insurance to, you know, the business license to, man, it's overwhelming, and it's a lot to take on, because first of all, every state's different. I mean, insurance was just the biggest pain in my ass.
I want you to know, and that made my day, the day you called me and you said, I did what you said, and it worked, and I got my insurance. Not that we did anything wrong, but I told him, I said, here's what you have to do. Call the insurance company. You have to explain to them what you do. Well, you're not a mobile. You're not flipping brakes in the street. You have to explain that to them.
Yep. And I was denied by every single insurance company. I told them I did mobile diagnostics and I did mobile programming. We don't cover it. They don't even look.
They don't know what it is.
Nope, we don't cover it. And I was like, but locksmiths, you can insure? Yep, we can do locksmiths. Well, it's not much different. You know, I'm going with the same type of tools. I'm doing the same type of work. Right? It's different. And then once you mentioned as far as consulting, that's exactly what we're doing. And now that I found an insurance agent that actually knows how to write the insurance, Now it's not so much, but man, it took me a good solid about 2.5 months to even get insurance. And I did not even want to walk through a shop door until I did have the insurance under my belt, because one time you don't, that's when something's going to happen.
That's when the shop burns down and it is your fault. And then you're on the hook for $1 million shop.
Yeah.
But kind of talk about networking and just in general. I mean, we'll talk about networking, before our abomination of a live stream that you and I did back in October. You and I had a phone conversation for like close to an hour to an hour and a half, just networking because you were trying to get into the mobile business. Yep. If you're wanting to get into the mobile, you might know everything, but you do not know everything. And you have to have a network to be able to do that. Now, we'll talk about networking. The first time that I ever met Corey was at Super Saturday, probably one of the ultimate networking events that I've ever, it 100% changed my career. Probably one of the first times I talked to him, I was like, Corey, I want one of your t-shirts, S&A Automotive. You know what I do with my t-shirts, Brandon? I said, what? I use all of that money to send people to training events like this. I take that money and I send people to training. Networking. That is what you have to do. Networking and training. You might think that you know everything. You might be the best dealer technician or best whatever technician, but if you're not properly trained, you will not survive in the mobile business because you come across so much stuff and so much crazy crap. Like earlier this week, I had to diagnose a 1972 C10 that had an LS swap. All of the electronics was from an 02 5.3, but the engine was out of a 6.0 2008 vehicle, and I had to figure it out. You might be used to the typical diag, but if you are not well-versed and have a good sounding board and have a good networking and have good training, you will not survive in the mobile business. Yeah. So all of this was kind of geared towards, people wanting to get into the mobile. You have to stay on top of the business. You have to stay on top of the industry, training, and everything.
Well, it makes you feel that you're not alone too. Having that network, correct, having that support system. We're all here to lift each other up, and you find that network and everything else. I started learning EEPROM because I see Keith over here doing it. I was like, man, this is something I want to.
Yeah, if that idiot can do it, anyone can.
That's not what I mean. I'm like,
just because he's ugly doesn't mean he's not smart.
Yeah.
On, man.
Well, and here's the thing: there's so many tools that I have bought that I've purchased throughout my career. And being the technician that every shop I was at, they didn't invest into scan tools or anything else. So yes, I was the technician buying all the ball joint equipment. I was the technician buying all the scan tool equipment. If I wanted to do this job, it was up to me to provide this, the tooling. So there was a lot of upfront costs. Is there still a lot of upfront costs being mobile? Absolutely, but it's a little bit different. I don't need to be buying the $1,000 ball joint set. I don't need to be buying this anymore. The tools have went from this a huge area to more of a specialized area and stuff now, but there's so many tools. I have very little return on investment. Up until this last month, I've been mobile for a month, and I finally get to do EEPROM. I finally get to use these tools that, man, I haven't used yet, and it's nice, and I'm learning new skill sets. So just this last month alone, I've learned more. I've grown more in this last month than I feel that I have it in the last 5 years. I felt stagnant, and it didn't matter what shop I went to, I was stagnant. It wasn't the growth I wanted. Is it frustrating? Is it overwhelming at times? Yes, but having that network, it's a support system. It's really, really amazing.
The hardest thing for us as techs, we want to, especially those of us that really, we truly love what we do. We love to fix stuff and go, look what I can do. Look what I fixed. The hardest thing is to go, I was wrong, and I need help. Right, and that's the biggest learn. And especially as a mobile tech, you better get used to saying that. I need help. I was wrong. Mm-hmm. And once you can do that comfortably and humbly, things get much easier.
Well, on top of I was wrong and I need help is also as an automotive industry in general, it does not matter if you are the lube tech, you inspect tires, or you're the best diagnostician ever. We all have the ego that can barely fit inside of a typical Walmart because it is so freaking big. And it's always, I can figure it out. Well, sometimes as a mobile technician and a business owner, you have to say, that is not something that I want to take on. And that's where it kind of sucks as a typical person or technician, is turning down that work. And sometimes you have to say, I'm not going to get into that, because it'll be one of those jobs where you can only charge $155 for your show up fee, and you're there for 6 hours because you cannot figure it out. And it kind of sucks whenever you're there for 6 hours and you're like, I have no answers for you and I cannot charge you any more money. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you just have to say, well, there's your problem. The car was underwater for 6 months and it's got green crusties everywhere, and I can't figure the issue out at the moment.
Hey,
what's a good scanner to use on a 1994 BMW?
Exactly. Yes. Yes, you're right. well, that's like in one of the group chats. I think it's the one that Isaac started. I posted earlier today. I had a shop call me about a 95 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's OBD1, and I'm going to be that person. Oh, you're not a real mechanic because you can't figure it out stuff without a scan tool.
No, I would do that over a BMW any day.
Well, yeah, but he's like, I think I've got a computer issue. Oh. Well, how am I supposed to diagnose crap on that if I don't have anything to plug into it? So I usually try, if it's not an OBD2, I try and stray away from it. Okay. Programming pre-99 roughly, I don't really want to mess with programming because it's going to get kind of expensive. Like, you're most likely going to have to bench flash that. So
challenge accepted.
Hey, I've already let the magical smoke out of a couple of them. I'm an expert.
Isaac has seen it. I've very well perfected the don't use this JBox on this module, and I go, I'll do it.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, I will say the thing that saves my ass with bench programming has always been that I use a desktop computer power supply, and I actually was supposed to make the Trained by Tech guys a video on this. What I think we're coming up on 4 years ago that I started that video for you guys. I'll finish it. You know, it's funny. It's like, you know, the ones I built, they got a couple bad caps on there, and I'll replace them. Eventually, we could even fix the ones. But you know, it's been that path that we were talking about, where everything just changes, and you realize that where you are in your career feels stagnant. Like I had a shop, then I took a job at a dealership. And then I was like, well, this isn't, I was kind of over it. It really, the wind was out of my sails, and I was like, I need to do something more. But really what had started that path in 2011. Well, what really started that path for me in 2011 was this CTI region. I'm really lucky, and I live somewhere where I get 3 CTI regions that I can drive to. And so in 2011, I started going to these classes. Every other month there was a class. And then I found out that there was another region I could drive to, and there were more classes I could go to. And then it was just, the want to understand and grow in capabilities and knowledge. It was a snowball effect from there. And then I was going to all the NAPA training, CTI, WTI, anything that I could find in training. Then I deleted Facebook, and then somebody was like, hey, check this out. There's an automotive tech group on Facebook. And I was like, okay, shit, I'll get Facebook back. And because I was over Facebook, and this is 2013. And so I went back and got Facebook back, and there's these groups and this support network that's been created through these groups. I think Cody's got a group for his YouTube channel. There's a couple other guys that have groups for their YouTube channels. There's general automotive technician groups, there's specialty Facebook groups, and there's these as free resources have become the support network that have replaced traditional pay websites. Because, dude, some of these groups, you have 30,000 technicians that could possibly pop open their phone and answer your question for you. The amount of man hours and knowledge that is cumulative power in these groups is incredible. So the networking thing is just like, I mean, training, whatever you can. Right now, everything's online. So if you don't have anything that came to you locally, you have more opportunities to get into basic to advanced level training right now than have ever existed. You know, I know we have friends in Utah that had say, hey, I mean, almost nothing ever comes out here. And then in the last year, since everybody switched to doing webinars, they've had more training opportunities. I bet these guys have logged 200 hours plus of training in 2020. So, I mean, I guess if you're already on a YouTube channel watching this, you already have some inclination.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but I mean, I think some of these people probably find this by Googling how to fix a car, and then somebody's thing comes up, and then they realize, and they try and reach out and they try and connect with this, and then find these groups. And it's Pandora's box of automotive, because this field is changing so fast. What I was doing when I entered this field in 2008 versus what I'm doing now going into 2021, like Corey was saying, and Cody was saying, it doesn't even pale in comparison. I'm not even in the same ball game. I'm not even playing in the same league, and it's incredible. And that's where automotive is moving, though. And part of the future is this is going to become more of the norm. This needs to not be such a weird thing. You know, there needs to be shop owners that want to send their guys to training. There needs to be guys that push for training or seek out shops that have that training. When I had my shop, I faulted in that. I was shitty about that. I offered the training, but I didn't pay anybody to go. It was kind of like, hey, if you want it, here it is. I'd pay for a whole bunch of it, but it's kind of on you to go. And now if I reapproached it through meeting some of these other amazing shop owners that really push it, I would reapproach a shop totally different if I ever did it again, because I think that the shops are going to change with the times. The guys that are doing 30-year-old cars have a time and a place. I'd live where vehicles don't rust out. We drive 30-year-old cars around and don't even think about it. They have 300,000 miles on it. But for people that live in places where cars are 7 years old, they live in a much different work environment where service information is much more important. No, you can't just go put that part on the car and turn the key on and it just works.
There goes that demographic conversation again.
Yep.
Well, like, I'll say this. Isaac kind of touched on two different things, and I'll kind of say it. Social media. I learned in social media sometimes the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And Isaac's going to smile whenever I say this. Joe Moss. Joe Moss is the reason why I am mobile right now. And Isaac understands with a smile on his face.
Me too.
what Joe Moss is and what my mobile career is. The friend or the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Isaac wouldn't piss in Joe Moss's mouth if his guts were on fire. Excuse my language. I've had a couple of beers.
Hey now.
Well, there goes my
The comments were lighting up because of your drinking.
But you know, and I had some issues at Joe Moss, and Isaac reached out to me, and I would say 4 months later I was mobile, and the reason for that was a friend of my friend's my enemy, but it was also the networking. Back to networking, training, kind of switching gears, training. Isaac knows this one, the Diagnostic Junkies. That is our local technicians, shop owners, and we get together and try and train together. So if you're a mobile, you kind of have to get with your shop owners and do some training as well. It might not be the best for your business, but it's raising the industry as a whole. And so training is where it kind of comes back to as well. So, Isaac,
it's funny. It's funny. Let me interrupt you 1 second though. I go into the shops. I've been pumping ATG. I actually got them to move their training events to Staten Island. Keith had been trying to do it for a long time before he left, And I actually got them to move the whole event over. And I go into all the shops, and I literally have a stack of flyers right here for an evap class, and I go and I hand them all out. And they go, I don't know about the class, it's expensive. I go, and I tell them, I'm not doing this for me. I don't get anything out of this. Getting you to actually, it's bad business for me. If
Correct.
I was smart, I throw the flyers out, and I tell ATG, keep your classes over in Jersey because I need to keep my shop stupid so that they keep calling me, right? The last thing I need is my shop's getting smarter, then they don't call me anymore. But it's not about that. It's about bettering the industry and trying to push the people that want to be pushed a little bit, right? I'm not going to waste my time on people that just gave up. All right, that's fine. You don't even own a scan tool. You go into the shops where their database is Google Tube, and they literally have nothing. They Google and YouTube everything. And that's fine if that's the way you want to run it. And then, you want to do your breaks and your struts and call me for everything else. That's fine. Don't pretend you want to learn and you don't. But if you do, I'm going to help you. I always laugh when I have like some of these guys come up to me, kids or whatever, and they go, I want to learn a little bit. I want to better my skill. What do you think I should do? And I go, oh, this is going to be a while. All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go on YouTube. You're going to start following these guys. You're going to hit Keith Perkins' channel. You're going to hit Scanner Danner. You're going to subscribe to you're going to get his book and subscribe to his channel. And you're going to go to his training event. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a while. But so if you show me that you're interested, man, I'm definitely going to help you out. Even if it means I lose business on the end, because it's not about me. I'm going to retire at some point, hopefully sooner than later. And we need people in the industry that care. One of the guys, actually, I got it back here. I went out and bought another Autel scope. I don't know if you can see that. I don't need this, but it was somebody had it. This is supposed to be used, and I got to tell you, it's like brand new, and it was a deal and a half, and I bought it. Why? Because I'm just going to give it to somebody at the price that I paid it for. Somebody that I think will use it and can benefit. And I didn't even hesitate. I said, yeah, I'll take it. They're like, oh, you just bought a Pico. I go, I know, but somebody can use that. It's sharing it. It's for a couple $100, I'll just pass it along. It's sitting in the back of trucks till I find somebody that wants it. So that's the point of the guys that are doing this. We love what we do. We want to share it. For the guys that want to be pushed, we'll push. And if you don't want to be pushed, that's fine. We'll leave you alone. But we talk about this. This is where Train by Techs came from. This is the whole concept of Train by Techs.
And can I piggyback off that real quick? So I remember the class and everything else. So I remember going to an ATG class, and it was taught by Rick Kelly. He's local to me and everything, but it was I'm always there early. I like getting the seat right in the front and stuff. Rick and I talked for a little bit and everything, and he was mentioning how he trained some Trained by Techs guys, and I was like, huh. I had no idea. I knew of Scanner. I was just starting to get into, I would Google stuff and YouTube videos would pop up as far as helping fix stuff. But I just started getting into actually watching Scanner Danner. I didn't know that there was like more channels that had, knowledge on them that was actually worth watching. So Rick ends up telling me about, Trained by Techs and everything. So I go on there and from there, it was just a domino effect. I mean, it really just took off. And then I started seeing, the Facebook groups and stuff that were actually worth a crap, where it's, not everybody badgering everybody, and people can actually ask questions and feel comfortable to answer and ask questions. And, but that night, it's just crazy because it just completely changed everything, and, gave me more guys to look up to and to better myself. Not just, I knew I was doing a good thing going to training, but seeing these other guys just giving back to the industry so much, it was just so inspiring. So thank you to the Trained by Techs, Keith, guys like yourself and everything else. It's just, and then guys like Scanner Danner, and then meeting everybody in person like at Super Saturday. I can't say anything bad about Super Saturday because it was just that inspirational. It really, really was.
Like that one a-hole that pulled up behind you in your trunk, and I was like, hey, can I grab a beer?
Yeah, that guy, I almost threw a beer at him. Actually, I did throw a beer at him. I was like,
yeah, you did. Well, like for me, after I got out of the Marines, I did an independent shop, and I went dealer, and I was dealer for years and years and years and years and years. And I got to the point I was like, I'm burned out in the industry. There's got to be more than industry than what I am currently doing. There has to be more. And so I got on YouTube and I started goofing around on YouTube, and I found Scanner Danner. And then I started goofing off some more, and I found, Mario's thing. And then the first video of yours I seen was that toolbox tour with you and your wife and everything. And I was like, this seems pretty cool. And then on, I don't even remember what Facebook page, I made a post about a Diag, and, people are like, oh, that's freaking stupid, yada, yada, yada. And then Mario sent me the invite to his Facebook page. And it was just, I don't know, it was just something like that. It was just me goofing off on YouTube transitioned my career so much that I couldn't even imagine. And then ASTE, which is like, a freaking huge event on the East Coast, I went to ASTE, and, I'm a a-hole that thinks I know everything. I sit down at a table at breakfast for ASTE, and I look across and I was like, hey guys, what's going on? Stupid me. It was all of Trained by Techs was at the table. I didn't know who Trained by Techs was, and they're all like, hey, what's going on, man? I was like, nothing. And it was literally all of Trained by Techs, now that I know that later on. And it just started networking. And I don't know. It was just, social media has changed the automotive industry for the better on a lot of aspects. For the better, if you're in the right group. If you're in the right group, for the better. And I
rev up your engines.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
But like whenever Mario sent me the invite to his thing, and I was like, well, some bitch, a YouTube, famous person just invited me to their Facebook page, and I was one of the, I'm not going to say I was one of the founding members, but I was in the very low numbers of the Auto Insight network. And look at where that Facebook page is now. And that was a turning point in my career. And then another turning point is whenever Isaac doesn't like being tooted, but whenever I met Isaac,
he loves
Isaac.
Stroke it.
Yeah, but like whenever I was running with my issues at a dealership, I've already said the name multiple times. Isaac reached out to me. He's like, "Look, there is more to the auto industry than what you have experienced. Come get under my wing, little fellow, and let me guide you to the rainbows and the sherbets." And it all came back to the networking of, I just happened to be on an automotive Facebook page, and I vented, and now I'm at some live stream and I'm just some a-hole, and everybody's like, who is that guy? It just all happened kind of out of the blue. But if you look back on it, it was networking.
It all boils down for all of us. And just even reading these comments, I mean, so many guys talking about Scanner Danner, like, changed my career, man. And it all boiled down to networking, man. I mean, it's just, people aren't on this live feed if you're not part of some kind of like networking and stuff. Same with what we're doing right here. And man, there's just, it's nice to see so much positivity and people coming together instead of, was it who mentioned as far as like, oh, the guy next to you doesn't want to tell you anything. I mean, that's how the industry used to be. You didn't want to give away your secrets or anything because you feel that guy next to you is going to take your job. So it made it real hard. You don't want to show anybody any tricks. You don't want to teach anybody. And that's not what it's about. And that's one of my greatest, that's what I love about being mobile, because there are the guys that will stand over my shoulder programming something. They don't have the tools, they don't have the equipment, but I'll walk them through it, because it's like, it gives me an opportunity just to teach these guys, like, they're curious. I'm not worried about them taking my job. And if they do end up starting programming and stuff, they even said like, hey, could you show us? Yeah, I'll come in, I'll teach you guys. It's, I'm not out for just myself, and none of us are either. I feel like, You know, we're here to help.
Well, exactly. Well, you go into a shop. Well, if you're in a shop and you need help, right, and there's 4 other guys, you can kind of ask, maybe he knows. When you're mobile, they called you because they don't have a clue. They gave up. Now it's just you. You show up at the car, and if you don't know, if you're not networking, if you don't have a helpline, you're really screwed, because you're standing there going, well, I can't ask them. They called me because they don't know. So I got, it's just me. It's cold. It's getting late, and I got to get these cars done. And what do? Well, you better have a network of friends, or you know, somebody you can lean on. You know, somebody that hasn't blocked your number because you called them 1,000 times already. And so more so with the mobile things. If you're going to get mobile, you better make sure. I make the joke: the more I know, the more I realize I don't know.
Yep. Well, you got Brian Mann that's in the chat, and I mean, he's been mobile for over 10 years. And, you know, so it's like, it was a completely different game then. Like, I'm sure it was a lot more, feeling alone as far as, because the networking and everything else, it's not where it is now. So where was it 10 years ago, you know? So does this mean that we're going to see more guys going mobile in the future because of, you know, the strong networking?
Exponentially.
Yeah.
I feel that. And like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Isaac. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna have to dip out in a minute anyway. I have to teach a class and be up at 6:30 in the morning. But I started out when I started my career. I was I sleep before I teach because everybody deserves the best learning experience. If I was working on cars tomorrow, we'd go all night and I'd just stay up. But when I started my career, I was mobile repair. But I started my career in medium and light duty diesel mobile, doing oil changes, changing tires on the side of the road, putting radiators in on big trucks on site. And I really believed that was the future, because I saw the ability, but more to retail, because I did it for a fleet company. And then when I started my mobile business in 2010, it was mobile repair, some diag, but it was, you know, I was pretty green. And so it was mostly repair. I was doing lots of brakes, axles, things. I was doing it mobile. I saw that was the future. And then coming back around and doing mobile, I'd mostly do programming because I don't have the time to do diag, and I'm not a drivability guy. I'm a diesel, no hybrid and electrical guy. And but I knew that mobile is going to be it. And so I think that mobile is going to grow, like Keith is saying, totally exponentially. It's going to go out of control. There's going to be more mobile guys because that type of service is needed more now and more in the future than ever before.
Well,
that being said, guys,
hang on before.
Okay, I'm hanging.
Bounce out. All right. You and I had hang like that. All right. You and I had a conversation. Remember, I showed you the so-and-so was in my area trying to steal the work, and kind of piggyback on all of our entire conversation. You as a person said, do they have a network? Because if they do not have a network, they will not survive. And probably a month after I showed you their little flyer, I haven't seen anything or heard anything from them. So did they not have a network to help them survive? Because I'll be 100% honest. I'm a dumb Southerner who was raised Southern. I am not smart. If it wasn't for my network, I would not be where I'm at right now. And that's the God's honest truth. So if you're thinking about going mobile, do you have a network to sound against? Like, hey, I think this is my issue, and you have somebody to talk to and kind of point you in a direction. Because if they don't, you'll be like that person that was kind of in my area trying to become mobile. I don't think they had a network, and I haven't heard anything from them in 3 or 4 months, you know?
You know, and it's guys like Brian Mann and DeFazio, when they started doing this, because Keith started doing this, well, before he left last year, he was doing it just mobile 12 years, right? Before that, he was doing it kind of like Perkins was doing it, nights and weekends. 12 years ago was a whole lot less the industry was a lot less friendly to programming J2534. I don't even think it was around back then. Right? Was it around 12 years ago?
Yeah.
But it was not as reliable as it is today.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm pretty sure Keith was born whenever OBD2 started. Like he wasn't born. He was just morphed into the. Here's Keith, the automotive guy, and now
I've heard DeFazio, and I have to say DeFazio, so we don't get the Keiths mixed up.
Yeah.
He said when he started doing when he was doing this 12, 15 years ago, there wasn't the networking that there is today. The tooling wasn't as crazy as it is. It wasn't as reliable. Programming was talk about butt clinch moments. There was you were breaking modules all over the place. So it was far more difficult then, and I believe that. So I'm not to say that hey, everybody should jump into it because it's easy, but if your head's in it right and you got the right intentions, you're not just gonna hey, I'm gonna do this because I want to get rich. You can forget it. Not to say there's not money in it, but you have to do it for the right reasons. And otherwise you won't make friends. Kind of like what Brandon was saying about the other guy in his area. You won't make friends if you got the wrong attitude. You know, there was a gentleman in this area that was claiming to have he was telling people he took over for DeFazio when he left, and he bought all his equipment, and he's the new Keith. And Keith wasn't happy to hear that, but you know, so and I haven't heard much about him lately, but it's kind of the same scenario. And I'm not talking bad about the guy. I don't even know him, but again, you have to go in just with the right attitude. You have to stay humble. You have to know how to ask for help properly. Don't ring Perkins' phone 20 times a day. Ask him to help you with a Nissan Rogue. Oh, did I do that? Sorry, man. But it's nice to know that you know what when and he knows when I call him I've told him this. I go, I wouldn't call you, but I'm at my last wit's end. I don't know where to go with this. I'm out of tools. I'm out of help. I don't know where to go. And he goes, I'm laying underneath the truck right now. Hold on, I'll call you back.
Yeah. Diagnose the EGT sensor on a diesel.
I think you literally were that day. You were laying underneath the truck.
Yeah, it was a body shop.
But he answered the phone. So I appreciate that. And so I guess that's the whole going mobile thing. It's definitely. I mean, we're doing this for 2 hours now, and we can keep doing this. It's different. It's different. The work ethic is different. Your time table is different. How you. Again, I haven't been home since Wednesday. So you're out all hours of the day. It's not like you come home at normal times. You don't leave at normal times. Your phone is ringing all the time. I don't have two phones. That's a mistake. I have one phone. The chance to get a second phone right now would be a problem because I either have to give my friends or my customers a new number, and it would be a nightmare. So I went down at the wrong path. So my phone rings. I get people that call me, text me 2:30 in the morning.
You can do it. So I've gotten rid of the phone twice.
So there you go.
Is it best to have two phones, Keith?
Well, on my cell phone, I have Isaac and Isaac-1 for whichever phone number I need to contact at that moment.
Oh my God. I thought Eric actually put my phone number in the chat.
I'm getting ready to bow out, but
I see it's in the chat.
But the flip phone is serious.
Right there. Free Diag help. 8675-309.
309.
So Eric will make the joke because I have a number when we call out on if any of our phones call out, they call out on a dispatch line number. So if somebody calls back, they get Liz. They get dispatch. So I can call a customer and talk to them, and they'll be like, okay, and then they'll try to call me back to ask questions. They're like, oh, I got Keith's number now, and it goes to Liz. So like Eric has tried to get a hold of me before, and he had called 2 or 3 of the numbers and gotten Liz each time. He's like, is this a game? Because there's 2 numbers you can call that over the last two years. Let's see. Yeah, there are 4 phone numbers that I've had in the last two or 3 years. So it's been, but yeah, I do that same thing. My problem is I'm like, oh yeah, call me anytime and here's my number. And I really do want to help people. And then, like, no offense to anyone here or anything, but I know everyone only calls me like once every 3 months, but when there's 147 people, that's 6 calls a day. So it's like, and I want to do it every time, but then I get too lax with it and I give it to too many people, and then I'm like, oh well, gotta get a new number. And so I've done that. So it's, I mean, I have 2 phones in my van all the time, and one of them has 2 phone numbers because I Google voiced it to try to split it and help with that. And then there's, it's bad. So you got to, if you're gonna get busy at mobile, you've got to have a personal phone that like nobody has. Like my personal phone, there are literally about 7 people that have that phone number, and they're all just family emergency contacts, and that's it. And the other one I can turn off.
What's that? Can I get the number real quick?
Yeah.
and just to add to that, not that I'm any kind of YouTube superstar by any stretch of the imagination, although Keith, you said earlier that they get DeFazio and Perkins confused, right? Yeah. I've had people contact me and call me Eric because they SNA instead of SMA.
Yeah.
They think I'm Eric. I'm going, no, not even close. He's way funnier and better looking than I am. But with the YouTube thing, I was actually in the hospital with my mom, who talk about bad time. She just had a stroke. I'm in the hospital. My phone rings. It's some guy from like Michigan who looked up my number because he saw a video I did and wanted to ask me a question about his car.
Yep.
I was like, dude, really? Right now? You want, no. Like, this is, how'd you get my number? Like, my number's not listed.
Yeah.
But he found it and he called it and he wanted me to help him with his car. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the hospital with my mom. No, it's email me. Like,
yeah, I got a call on Monday, or I got a call that I'm going to on Monday that they found me on YouTube. Don't know how they got my number.
Yep.
I have not posted that anywhere.
Yep.
So
I get the same thing but my number does show up when you Google it and stuff. Because Google puts it on there, and I'm like, it's the business number. So
gotcha.
Well, yeah, that's like me. I had to go out to the shop today, and they're like, I seen a YouTube video. Can you come out and help me diagnose this vehicle? And I was like, how the heck do you get my phone number? I Googled Jarhead Diagnostics, and of course, my phone number pops up. So
yeah, and I feel bad for some of the guys like Eric.
I'll put that in the comments.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
I feel bad because like Eric gets like 300 phone calls.
Go ahead and put mine. I'll put yours out there too. I'll put yours out there, Cody. Don't worry.
So Ivan, it's your turn to talk for an hour, Ivan.
For an hour?
Yeah, just got to make it even so we all get.
Yeah, sorry, Ivan.
I only have 1 phone so far.
Brandon, how's that go? Hey, that's a good point.
Yeah. No.
That's the cutoff, right?
Yeah, that's the cutoff. That's
hey, that's a good point.
I mean,
that's the cue to shut up.
I don't know how much longer you guys want to talk, but I mean, if we're discussing like this whole video or whatever was geared towards people wanting to go mobile, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to stay on point. Right.
All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Whenever I know for a fact I am, because after I hired my technician, I started doing less work and I blew the hell up. But anyways, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Whenever you go mobile, you are no longer, hi, I am so-and-so, the technician of this shop. You are now, hi, I am so-and-so, this is my business. So whenever you go mobile, let's discuss, I mean, even if we only do it for like 5 minutes, let's discuss the business aspect of it, because there are so many talented technicians, but are not business technicians. And as a mobile person, you have to be a business person because you are now running a business. You are no longer working for someone else.
That's a good point.
Eric, go.
No.
I'm bringing him in.
Well, no. I mean,
well, hold on. Let me bounce off of that for a second. There's a saying in business: you either work in your business or on your business. You can't and should do both. When you're mobile, you have no choice. You are doing both. Or like you're seeing and Keith is seeing, you hire somebody, you start to do less of one, more of the other, but to be truly successful, well, depending on how successful you want to be, but if you want to get to that scale, you have to choose. You cannot work in your business and on your business all the time and make it work. It doesn't. I can't keep track of numbers. I got to tell you, I'm horrible with numbers. I'm trying to write stuff down. I'm trying to keep receipt. I'm terrible. I haven't filed my year-end paperwork. My accountant's calling. I'm not even close. I'm horrible. I don't promote. Most shops don't even know my business name. They go to write me a check. They go, who do I make it out to? They don't even know the name of my business. So,
okay. There's 5 of us on the screen right now. Can all 5 of us say if we can read a P&L or not?
Yep.
Not a chance.
Okay. I am learning how to read a P&L. Cody, can you read a P&L? And this is a serious statement. I'm not trying to call anybody out. Like, there are so many extremely talented technicians, way smarter than I could ever imagine that I could ever possibly be in my life. I am not smart in this automotive industry compared to other people. But if you go out mobile, you are now a business owner, and that is different than, am I flagging 50 hours this week, or is my business profitable? Because there are differences in that, and you have to know the difference if you are going from I am turning 50 hours and I am opening my business.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to distinguish the differences between that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll come right out and I'll air all my dirty laundry. I screwed myself in my business coming towards the end of the year, and that's the honest truth, because I seen all this money coming in and I was like, balling. And then the next thing I know, it's the end of the year and I've got taxes I have to pay, and I have this I have to pay, and then all of a sudden it's the slow season, which everybody in the auto industry realizes it's the slow season, and you're a smaller business, and you know, I started clenching my onion ring, trying to make sure that I could continue on with my business just starting out. I haven't hit a full year yet. So, if you're wanting to go mobile, you have to realize you can't rely on, hey, business owner, I need more hours. Now you have to look in the mirror and be like, hey, business owner, I need more money.
It's one thing to just go mobile. That's scary in itself. But now you're also, like you're saying, you're also a business owner. So if you've never ran a business before, like myself, this is all new. Insurance is new. Everything is so new that it's overwhelming. You think you can just go out and I'm just going to put my stuff in my truck and now I'm mobile. You can do that.
Works for the first year really well.
Yeah. But to be a legit and like you're saying, as far as taxes and everything else, like if you can get it going at the very beginning and understand it, you're not trying to play catch up the rest of the time.
Correct. And like, I'm not going to sit here, because it is very easy for people to look at social media and look at YouTube and be like, God, I wish I was him. Man, look at him living that freaking life as a mobile guy doing whatever. No, like, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm freaking nervous right now. Now, probably about 2 weeks ago, it started switching. But for the past month, I was freaking nervous as a business owner. Like, shit, how am I going to pay my bills? Because, elections and Christmas and the beginning of the year, and people are like, what am I going to spend my money on? I don't want to spend my money on my car. And you, as a business owner, you have to make sure am I going to be able to survive those slow times? Because you can't look at that business owner, hey, shop owner, I haven't turned more than 10 hours. Can you help me out with some money? You are now that shop owner and you have to make that money. And
you have to do that on every call, because you go into the call and you are, when you get to the diag, you get to the job, you're doing your programming at diag, you're working in your business. And then when you go to hand the guy the bill, you're working on your business. You have to turn the hat. You go
Correct.
from tech to okay, I'm done with the car. I gotta go write the bill. You gotta turn the hat. And now I'm a shop owner. I have to think like a businessman. I do love what I do, but now I have to become the businessman. So, and you can't mix
and the
those
sales
two up.
guy.
You can't be.
Yep.
Correct.
Everybody's a salesman. I don't care what you do in this world. You're a salesman. You have to sell what you have to sell yourself.
You have to be the business owner. You have to be the service advisor. You have to be the GS, and you have to be the technician. You are all in one person doing the business, and that's where people don't understand. It's like, oh God, look at that guy. He's out there just living that freak. No, it takes a lot out of you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, the home run to it all. Let's talk about
one important point is,
Oh.
Like, how much time do you spend diagnosing a car versus how much time do you spend writing invoices?
Mm-hmm.
Going to shops, doing all this other stuff.
All the stuff you don't see.
Over.
Yeah, I'll be serious. I've had several shops where I diagnose the vehicle, I get done with it. Let's just say I allocated an hour and a half to that shop. I'm there for my hour, and then I'm there for another hour waiting on the shop to finish. Oh, I didn't even think that Billy Bob should have checked this or Billy Bob should have done that. And then next thing you know, you're in an hour-long conversation just trying to get your check signed for that invoice,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're trying to go on to the next one. So, everybody that's watching this is like, I want to go mobile, that's fine. But you have to realize it's not all, rainbows and sunshine. Sometimes you're now the business owner.
Yeah, the time management
let's
is
not
hard.
forget, as mobile, when you're in the shop and somebody calls you and says, I want to bring my car next week for an oil change and brakes, or 2 weeks, or I'm on vacation in a month, or whatever. When they call you up, they want you now because they've already spent a week or 2 weeks on it. They've thrown a ton of parts at it. They got a ton of labor at it. The customer is pissed, and it's, I got this car. When can you come? And you go tomorrow, and they go, tomorrow? You can't come today? No, I can't come today. In fact, I really can't come tomorrow either, but I'm going to try to squeeze it in. I'm really like 3 days out, but they don't want to hear that. So every call you get is an emergency. Every single one.
Correct. Like I'll use my today, how I was talking about that Audi earlier today. Let's dive into the not so nice section of the mobile business. Shop called me, hey, we replaced both headlights in an Audi. It was a 2017 Audi. I need them coated. Can you coat them? I can try. I'm now driving almost 45 minutes to an hour to this shop. I'm not like Corey, where each shop's like 3 feet away from each other and you can throw a piece of gum at each other. My shops are not that close together. So I now drive an hour out to that shop. On my way to the shop, I get called by that shop twice. Hey, how far away are you? I really need to get this car done. And it's like, as a business owner, you're like, I'm trying my best to service you. I drive all the way out to that shop. None of my stuff will do it. I don't have my LSID right now. It's in the works. I don't have Otis, so I can't, use the factory scan tool. So I'm trying to use what I can. And then I can't, program it. So now I just drove an hour out to you. I spent an hour or 45 minutes at your shop, and then I drove an hour and a half back. Now I've spent 2 hours and 45 minutes not to get paid for anything. On top of, you called me 2 to 3 times asking how soon till I can get to your shop and work on your vehicle, and that's the side of the mobile that people don't understand. Just because you're mobile, you're not always making money. You got to drive between shops. If you go to that shop and you can't figure out that thing, as a business owner, can you justify charging that shop? I didn't figure out anything, but I still got to charge you, or I didn't figure out anything, I cannot charge you.
Well, and that's a good point. So, you know, what we charge for programming, obviously we won't get into prices and stuff, but what we charge for programming, you know, that's the gas in the vehicles. That's the insurance for the company. That's the insurance for the vehicle. That's the tool insurance. That's the price of the tool. You know, there's so much, you know, you think you're just, if you get 7 calls a day and you're making X amount of dollars on each call, man, you're just living large. You know, and I remember Keith DeFazio, you know, when on his live stream, when he went to Opus, you know, on paper, it looked amazing. You know, like it looked really good what he was making, but you know, you have to take in subscription costs. You know, you know, so that's where your P&Ls are huge. You know, you're not looking at the net sales. You're looking at, man, a third.
I wish I was looking at my net sales to put it into perspective.
I remember Keith DeFazio saying he had to do 10 cars a day just to break even.
Yeah. So
that's no joke.
To put that into perspective, I will give you guys a number. I spend $22,000 a month running my business.
Yeah. I can agree to that.
Wow.
No, that's the number. You know, that's what I spend every month. I have to make more than that to take anything.
Dang.
Now that's payroll. That's payroll right. And everything.
Payroll.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I have to make $22,000 a month to pay all the bills and people.
Wow.
All right. You know what? I mean, screw it. I've had a few beers in me, whatever.
And then the kid's got to go and break his arm.
No. Like I've had a few beers in me, and you know, I love all you guys.
That's a good point.
Jarhead Diagnostics went full time. I'll say June 1st. So halfway through the year, June 1st is when Jarhead Diagnostics went. Jarhead Diagnostics LLC. Jarhead Diagnostics LLC grossed 150 from June 1st to December 31st. Jarhead Diagnostics grossed 150. Jarhead Diagnostics, I can tell you straight up and down, I do not have 150,000 in my pocket. I don't have anywhere near that. In that first 6 months, I bought 2 new scan tools. I bought a key machine. I bought a new laptop. I paid for subscriptions. I paid for this subscription. I paid for this. I paid for that. And I didn't take home nowhere near that. And that kind of comes back to the down and dirty of, like I said earlier, being a freaking business owner. And that's where people don't understand. It's like, yeah, I'm mobile. Yeah, it's freaking cool. Yeah, I want to go have a beer at my lunch. Freak it. I'm going to go have a beer at my lunch. But as the day comes to the end, I still have bills that I got to freaking pay for the business to keep the business going. And I might have grossed a lot, and you look at it and be like, man, in 6 months you grossed that? Well, yeah, I grossed that in 6 months. But at the end of the day, I didn't have that. You know, like how you were saying, you got to spend $22,000 a month just to keep the business going. You know, as a business owner, you might pull your payroll out, but as a business owner, you want your business to grow. So after you pull your payroll, even if it's for yourself, you still want money on top of that, meaning my business grew. And people don't understand that. People just see the money coming in like, damn, $155. I do 3 diags a day. That's a lot of money. Well, then you pay gas, and then you pay for your ProDemand subscription that your shop is currently paying for, and then you pay for your Identifix subscription that your shop
working at. Let's go on. That's the biggest misconception I hear is people go, "Oh, it must be great because you have no overhead."
Yeah.
I can 100% say I have overhead.
We all do.
I'm not even trying to hide stuff. I mean, maybe it's the alcohol that I had a few beers in me or what. I'll be honest with you. I'm just being straight up. I have overhead, you know. My technician, Jeff, exactly, Cody. I mean, this held 3 and it's empty now, and I had one before this. So, but
mine's like water.
Yeah, we got guys in the chat that are spending, you know, $280,000 a month to keep places open.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I had a building and stuff, yeah, I mean, we're mobile. I mean, I have a building, but I'm like, this space I'm leasing is $600 a month. I mean, that's not much of that chunk of change.
That's $3,000 a month out here in Staten Island.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we'll take my business compared to yours, Keith. It's smaller. You have more overhead than me.
Yeah, I got
like,
3 vans and.
Yeah, correct. And like, all right, so I hired on Jeff in September. First 3 months, Jeff rode with me, so we had 1 vehicle. Well, then Jeff started growing to the point where he was on his own. So now it's like, okay, I got to purchase another vehicle. So I purchased a cheap vehicle. Well, now that vehicle, I'll just be honest, it's a piece of crap. And I got to buy another vehicle 3 months later. So that way I can justify sending him out. Or as a business owner, do I pay his mileage so he can drive his own vehicle? So, I keep coming back to it. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. At the end of the day, you are a business owner with pretzels, chomping away as you work on buses. But sometimes you have to actually realize before you just rip that Band-Aid off, like, screw it, I'm going to go do mobile. There's a lot to it before you just go mobile. You better have something to fall back on, and we had that discussion before we went live on this where Cody's like, I had X number of dollars in the bank to lay back on. And, Keith, you said that you just kind of had to rip the Band-Aid because of stuff that went on in your personal life. And, for me, it was just the perfect kind of storm on, different types of income that I had coming in. But if it wasn't for those different incomes that coming in, I would have went right back into a shop 3 months later. Because you have to build your clientele, you have to grow a profitable business, and you have to continue doing. I mean, just because we want to diagnose a vehicle doesn't mean that you're going to be able to run the business to be able to stay mobile, if that makes sense.
Well, I think what really kind of made up my mind was, or was the most helpful, is having a good mentor. That was Keith DeFazio for me. He actually reached out to me and say, hey, come over here to Staten Island. I'll show you what mobile diagnostician really does. It just blew my mind. So I saw everything that he had to go through every day just by tagging along, from, taking phone calls, making appointments, traveling around. And he was working, 12, 14 hours a day. I was like, holy crap. Like, I spent 2 days there. I was just wiped, and he was just, Dunkin' Donuts and keep on going. So
I don't know how Corey and DeFazio do it, man. They just never
exactly.
stop.
It's a whole different. Those New Yorkers, man, they're nuts.
Well,
But,
like with Isaac, kind of comes back to the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Isaac and I both had somebody that we despised, and we both worked for that person at different times. And whenever Isaac found out that I worked there, he's like, look, you need to go mobile. But he told me, he's like, you're going to work 80 hours, but you're going to be your own business owner. And that's where you have to kind of come back to, do you want to work 80 hours to not answer to anybody? Or do you want to work 40 hours and answer to somebody? And
Exactly.
that's where it comes back to, do you want to be a business owner, or do you just want to work in a shop?
Mhm.
And as a mobile person, unless you're like my technician, Jeff, or the couple people that work for Keith, you either do it on your own, or you go to work for somebody who's mobile. And if you do it on your own, you have to realize that there is more to it than just diagnosing that vehicle and moving on to the next.
Yeah,
You've got a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, between insurance, between all of your different monthly fees for all of your subscriptions, between, service info or just whatever. I mean, it can get expensive, and you don't realize that how much the shop owner is spending each month to just
Mhm. And you got to make some tough decisions too, in terms of, hey, maybe I don't have that many cars of this brand in my area. I can't afford this subscription. It's not even going to pay for itself over this,
Right.
year or whatever.
Yep.
So you just don't do it. So
That's where
you
I'm
just
at
say,
on Porsche and Mercedes. I just
Yes.
can't justify the cost.
Yep.
I just had this conversation, Keith, and I just had this conversation about Nissan, about buying console. Like, is it worth it? $2,200 for the console, $750 to license it, $1,250 a year for the subscription, just to do outside of ETM, TCM, and what you can't do with R2R. Is it really the console to R2R? And it's a whole discussion, and there's another one. That whole thing will change in a week.
Exactly.
All the things, the programming and all that stuff. Chrysler's constantly changing. Nissan just changed a whole bunch of stuff. It'll make your head spin.
Yeah.
And I remember DeFazio telling me that forever ago. I was watching this video about this thing, whatever. And he goes, "How old is this video?" I go, "About 3 weeks old." He goes, "Forget it, it's changed already." And I was like, "You're exaggerating." No, not really. It really does. Sometimes it changes that fast.
Yeah.
It's true though. I mean, it is true. I mean, look at how much changes just within the last year and everything. So tooling's constantly going to change. Prices of things are constantly going to change. I mean, so it's not worrying about one scan tool to keep up to date. It's multiple tools. It's multiple subscriptions. There's so much. You have the AutoLogic, so that's $300 a month right there. Your AllData, your Identifix, whatever it may be. These are all things that are a must in order to run a business, and all those things kind of add up. Granted, it's not a shop where we're paying for shop rags and electricity and stuff like that, but all that stuff does add up, and you do, like you were saying, Ivan, how Keith had to do 10 cars a day to break even. There's got Jesus, that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure too,
Yeah.
But see, I think it also comes back to demographics. Like, Corey, how much do you charge on your Diags?
Do we want to go prices?
No, let's not do that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay. Well, like, I know I talked to Keith about my prices compared to what he was, and I was more expensive in my area than him, and that kind of comes back to your demographics as well.
Sure.
But your demographics doesn't matter whenever you still need to pay for IDS, SPS, Otis, for updating all 4 of your aftermarket scan tools and everything else. So
and then we go back, because we go back to supply and demand, because how fast. If it gets to the point, it's not just the shop. It's the people. If the person that brings their car to the shop is going to pay a bill that they think is too high, they're not going to go back to that shop. They'll just go to the dealer, because for some reason it's okay to get charged $2,000 at the dealer, but not $750 at the local repair shop. Whatever that conversation is. So it's not even really the competition end of it. But there is a supply and demand factor in there. I don't have to drive as far, so I don't have to compensate for as much drive time. I've literally done, you said it before about being 3 minutes from my next call, you can throw bubble gum. I've literally was programming a Land Rover in one shop, and I went through the hole in the fence to get to the next shop to diag something over there while I was waiting for the Land Rover file.
Wow.
So I go to buildings. In fact, my old shop was in a building that had 5 repair shops in the same building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So I'm going to finish here because I got to jump off in a minute. We and if people want to, we'll keep going on the dynamics of this. The price.
I say we do like a round 2 or whatever, and we can come up with actual discussions.
Something a little more structured.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is beer allowed?
I am going to tip out, guys, but I appreciate it. We'll do a round 2. I'll talk to everybody later on. You guys, I appreciate it. Ivan, whenever you're ready to come back out.
Hey, man, I'm actually. I was asking Keith if he wanted to get together on the island at some point, but I'm down, man.
Hey, that give you some good video footage.
Staten Island Express episode, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, man.
I got
once it gets a little warmer, I'll come out.
Oh, stop. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys.
He's a fair season diagger.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Yeah, no, I think, I appreciate, looking right now and everybody that's still in the chat and stuff. That's pretty awesome. I know it's late for you guys over in the East Coast and stuff. We had some things that we wanted to talk about. We didn't cover them all. There's obviously a lot to this. I think we covered some good things. But I think we can definitely get a little bit more structured. you know, if you guys, what do you think, Keith, as far as having people ask questions so we can get them kind of written down or a structure for the next event?
Here, how about this? Why don't we set up a on AutoMD, your Facebook page? Let's get somebody going on AutoMD and create a post of mobile diagnostics, and everybody goes to that post and post comments of what they question.
Not everybody has Facebook. I mean, I already have an email set up on my account.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there's like for questions that we're talking about, so they can submit questions so we can go through and answer them.
You know, well, you have that going on and stuff. Yeah, let's do that. I think,
I mean, there's.
But I just want to make sure it was centralized. We're not trying to look between like 10 different places looking for a question. Somebody got missed, but
since they're already on YouTube, I'd say let's just keep it structured towards YouTube, whether it be, you know, Keith's not website, but his email or whatever.
Yeah.
That way we can, you know, really answer. There's a lot of questions. I know there's a lot that we couldn't answer right now that we, you know, obviously we were all talking and stuff, but I'd really like to, you know, there's a lot of information with Keith being here and yourself and Ivan and stuff and Corey and, you know, I think there's a lot of good information and stuff out there. Even if it's bringing in some other guys and everything else, I know, you know, plenty of other mobile guys that may have their 2 cents and stuff too. So
yeah, there's quite a few in the chat. We got Brian Mann and Mike Reynolds and a good bunch of other guys. So
yeah, exactly. So it'd be cool to even just get some other perspectives and stuff too. You know, so there's a lot to this, I feel like, and I feel like the industry's kind of heading this direction, and it's cool to see everybody's growth over the years and stuff, from Ivan's channel to Jarhead to L1. I mean, it's pretty impressive, guys. Seriously, it's pretty cool to see. So
yeah, if you guys got questions, just send them to TechQuestions at L1 Training, but make sure you put that it's for the roundtable. It's a roundtable question.
So just put that in the
yeah. I'll write on the description to put it there. That way they don't. Let's see here. There we go. I'm changing the description now.
Sweet.
And if I'm not invited back because I ramble a lot, I understand. My bad. Hang on. Let me make it like the typical Brandon and Cody thing.
Hold on.
There we go.
How do I mute you? Hey, my video worked the whole time. I'm just saying.
Look, just because my battery went dead is not my fault.
Huh.
If I would have charged it beforehand, you know.
Well, at least it wasn't as bad of a train wreck as that picture behind you. So,
if I could have, like, if I could shrink it down, it actually says too much RAM, not enough Dodge.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
How do you guys put that background screen behind you?
On the bottom left of your screen where it says stop video or mute.
Yeah.
If you click the up arrow and it says choose virtual background, if you have a picture on it, you can just put that as your background.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. I'll do that next time.
Works really good if you have a green screen.
Because I actually did it a different way, so now I know. I want to change it like everybody else was.
Yeah, this is fun.
I did it because I normally just change it to where I'm sitting in my van.
Oh, hey, hold up. Hey, Brian Good, I see you're in the chat, buddy. Hey, just want to say love you like a brother, man. I know you're going through some things and stuff. Not want to say too much, but thinking of you, man. Brian could use some prayers and stuff. So if we could give a shout out to Brian, that'd be pretty awesome. So
speaking of Brian, rip that Band-Aid off and go mobile like you keep talking about. I'm ready to see that going on. So
yeah, he's Brian. There's more ahead of him. So yep. Hey, so guys, hey, thank you so much for joining us, everybody in the chat. Mike Reynolds, everybody, really do appreciate it. And we'll catch up on the second roundtable and we'll kind of go from there. So really do appreciate it, guys. So we'll talk to you guys later.
We'll see you.
Awesome.